Hello, mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome back to the final commentary, at least for a while, with me and Isaac.
Hello there.
The final commentary, the final end, and we are doing the animated version, the black and white animated version to be precise, of the EVIL of the Daleks. And we will be watching the black and white animation, but we will be switching to the existing episode 2 afterwards. So get that menu option up on your respective DVDs or Blu-rays or whatever you're watching this on. Now, EVIL of the Daleks. This just to give a brief introduction to this. So this is going to be an interesting commentary because this is the first time I am watching the animation. Yes, I have seen clips, and I experienced the story through a loose cannon reconstruction last year when I did my marathon. But this will be the first time watching the animation, so this should be quite a cool commentary. I'm looking forward to this. So, without further ado,
if you'd like to sync this up with your own copy of EVIL of the Daleks, go to Play All with Surviving Original Episode 2 and press play in 3, 2, 1, go.
Now, just as a little bit of housekeeping up front, I guess, and I've not really mentioned this to you, so I don't know if this is going to be a shock or anything, but when I watched this last year as the Telesnap reconstruction, I was really disappointed in this story.
No, fair enough, because, I'm going to get the negative... Honestly, all my negative stuff comes in the earlier episodes, because...
Yes.
Right, I'm going to come out and say it. The title's not even over yet. Episode 1, it's a complete write-off. What is the point of it?
Yeah.
We don't need all of this. Just nick the TARDIS, have Waterfield leave a note with airport security saying, if you want it, come to this antique shop. The Doctor will gladly come, knock him out, then take him back in time to 1866.
Yep, 100%.
You don't need this.
Yep, I completely agree. And you know what? Like, I'm often quite scared to voice this opinion because I was so excited. Like, I remember getting the Telesnap reconstruction up, waiting to watch this, knowing full well the legacy and the kind of reputation this story has. And when those 7 episodes ended, I was just so disappointed and deflated. But that's another reason I'm looking forward to doing this commentary now, is because this is a chance, watching this animation, first time watching the animation, my opinion of it might change, and it might be a bit more positive this time. So,
yeah, because I did go to the BFI screening of this story back in September. It was a brilliant experience. Yeah, it was... I think it was my first BFI in 2 years because of all the stuff that's happened. But yeah, they showed the colour version, and... yeah, a lot of people did seem to like it, but yeah, I do find it a bit overrated because as a 7-parter, it is too long. As a 6-parter, I think it would have been up there with Power, because if I had to choose between Troughton's 2 Dalek stories, Power would probably be better.
I completely agree. And you know what? I'm actually really glad you said that, because I was kind of expecting to be the voice of the negativity for this commentary. So that's quite a relief you said that, actually. But no, I completely agree. Obviously it's the same writer, David Whittaker, but I think Power of the Daleks is just such a more tightly written story. I think the themes and ideas in it.
It's just too because I don't hate this story. It's just I think it's a bit too, particularly in the early episodes, it's a bit too meandering, because we don't really get the plot until like 2/3 into episode 2, and that's 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
Compare this to something like Power of the Daleks, where the premise of the Daleks being friendly and the power struggle in the colony, that was enough to keep the audience's interest. But here it's just the Doctor's looking for the TARDIS, and
yes.
We know the Daleks have got it because they're in the bloody title.
Yeah, and Power of the Daleks, it maintains its drama throughout those 6 episodes, and it is a fascinating look into the psychology of the Daleks. This one, I think...
Yeah, because I think in I remember, I don't know what year the poll it was, but it might have been 2003. This story actually came in the top 10.
Yeah, this story...
It came, I think, number 8. I think it might have been the highest rated story of the 60s. Like, that's pretty insane.
This story is loved. Like, it is completely loved, and I wish I felt the same, because I do love the scale of it and the production design from what we can tell from the telesnaps, and the and you know, the Dalek Emperor is of course fantastic. The music's great. You know, it's all great. I do struggle to see why people put this as their favourite story and everything, because it is just so... The padding, I don't... know, classic Doctor Who is padded at the best of times, but it usually doesn't bother me, because that's just part of the charm of classic Doctor Who, you know, and I'm always usually
I remember
having fun.
In 2012, Doctor Who magazine, they did a feature on all of the Daleks' plans. This got 1 out of 10 for making sense, because it's literally, we need the Doctor to help us discover the human factor. To do this, we have to lure him to Skaro. To do this, we have to lure him to 1866. To do this, we have to lure him to an antique shop. To do this, we have to lure him to a coffee bar. You get what I mean?
Yeah, it makes...
just, we don't need this.
Yeah, it makes no... And also, I'll say it now, I know the Daleks haven't turned up yet, but... And correct me if I'm wrong here, I could be misremembering, but... So the Daleks want the Doctor, and they lure the Doctor because they think he has the human factor, right? So
yes, they want him to find what the human factor is, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So they think he's got the human factor. So presumably that means they think he's human, right?
Well, no, because they choose Jamie for the experiment, because they say his travelling through time with you makes him unique, and the Doctor even says, well, why don't you use me? And he says, no, you're more than human.
Okay, so they do say that.
You've travelled too much from time. Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I know at the time viewers didn't even know where the Doctor came from at this point, but yeah, the Daleks probably don't know that he's not human at this point.
Which baffles me, because it's like, well, they know he's got a time machine, and they know he can change his appearance because they've beaten him before as the first Doctor, but they're still like, oh, you're just more than human. Like, that doesn't work for me no matter which way I look at it. It's such a sort of contrived, and I guess that's why this disappointed me, because the power of the Daleks is so well written and tightly written, that this having holes like that is just a bit like...
yeah, Power of the Daleks, for me, it justifies it being 6 episodes, because for me, that story flies by and it's fantastic. Whereas this, I don't think it justifies being 7. It would have been better as 6.
No.
Oh,
plus,
now,
go on.
animation Easter egg, you can see the Dravins on a poster here, I think. And that is supposed to reference what the next animation would be, Galaxy 4.
Ah, that's cool. I like that. And you can also see the Magpie Electricals logo.
You can, yeah.
Are you a fan of that? Because I know a lot of people aren't a fan of that, but...
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I love the Wanted posters of the Master as well.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of a segue on to the actual animation then, because this is the first time we have done an animated Doctor Who story. What are your thoughts on the animation in this, and kind of how it compares to the other ones?
I honestly think this is the best we've got so far, and that might not just be the hype. I just think it's really expressive. It's got great lighting, even in the black and white version, like this scene here that's taking place in a shadowy warehouse. This is really good. And I'll say this though, this is a 4:3 ratio, but you can kind of tell with the animation it was made specifically 16:9, because there are times where characters in this version just like dip in and out of shot, and it's a bit jarring, but honestly both versions I think work terrific. And to be honest, whenever I rewatch an animation, I always go for the black and white, but I always think it's nice to have the colour version as a bonus.
Yeah, when I was on the marathon, I watch the black and white versions to kind of fit in with continuity. But I think if I was going for a standalone, Chameleon Tours as well in the background.
There it is, yeah.
Yeah, little link to the faceless ones. I always, what was I saying? Yeah, when I rewatch the animations on their own, I think it's always fun to see them in colour, and I think the best story for that, and I think it's probably my favourite animation, is the Macra Terror.
Yeah, because of how camp it is, kind of, really.
Oh yeah, how camp it is, and also that animation is so colourful, and it's got such a massive scale to it compared to the original production anyway. I always think it's kind of fun to watch that as like a standalone thing, even divorced from the fact that it's missing episode animation. I
mean, Galaxy 4, the colour version of that, the way they've got the sky and rocks on the planet, it just reminds me so much of the first Peter Cushing Dalek movie, of all the bright, flashy colours that you get.
And you mentioned Galaxy 4 there. I will say, and I promise this isn't a slight on any of the animation teams, the animations for Galaxy 4 and Fury from the Deep, I think, from what because I've not watched Galaxy 4 in full, but I've seen many clips of it. Big Finish Creative are definitely the weaker of the two animation studios that work on these things now.
Yeah, I would say. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe the Web of Fear animation team have got a future.
Oh yeah, Shapeshifter. Yeah.
Oh god, they move like C-3PO.
Yeah, that's...
Where are you?
You mentioned the Web of Fear. That's the only Doctor Who release, I think, in the last 10 years, like big Doctor Who release, that I just didn't buy. Cause,
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I just didn't buy, and that was, I remember at the time for me that was quite big, because I buy everything that comes out with these Blu-rays, and I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of not.
I mean, to be honest, I just I primarily wanted it for a making of documentary because I love those.
That's the only thing that tempted me, but then I sort of thought, eventually they're going to do the collection season 5, and that's kind of what put me off.
Chris Chapman on Twitter recently has said, I can confirm we have been making a 60s documentary for the Blu-ray collection.
Interesting, okay. It's got to be season 2, right?
And it has to be, because there's... Because I've gone onto like the announcement pages for season 22, and if you go in the comments, people theorise that it's season 2 and season 9 that we're going to get this year. I mean, I've even said that for the 60th next year, we should get, in no particular order, season 1, season 20, and season 25. I think they'd be very fitting for the 60th anniversary.
I agree. I think that'd be really good. But I mean, the season 2 has got to be first up, right? Because that's the only season that's
it's the
pretty
fullest
complete.
one, yeah.
Yeah, it's the only thing it's missing is 2 episodes of the Crusade, right? So
it is, yeah.
You know, and however they choose to present those, you know, will be seen.
And there's rumour that for season 2, the Behind the Sofa team, one of them is Peter Purvis, Carol Ann Ford, and Maureen O'Brien.
No, that's nice that Maureen O'Brien's on there.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't hear from her. Well, you do hear from her a lot these days, but she's not as prevalent.
Yeah, and Chris I think it was last year, Chris Chapman did tweet on location near the Thames doing a making of Doctor Who documentary, and that could be 2 stories. That could be a making of the Dalek invasion of Earth, or one for Resurrection of the Daleks.
Yes, so I mean, either or, I'm pretty excited by that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because that's the one thing I always say with the marathon that I've been doing is I've really gained a new love and appreciation for William Hartnell's Doctor, and to the point where he's one of my very favourites now. So any Hartnell content, I'm just all down for that, because yeah,
I get you.
And I mean,
and this is the first time. It's the first time we've done a commentary from season 4 a very important season because it was probably the biggest change Doctor Who had gone up to in that point. Yeah. Not just because of change of actor, but also change of stories as well. Historicals were booted out, replaced with pure science fiction.
Yeah.
And also, now the Daleks are being written out.
Yeah, definitely. Season 4 is an incredibly important season for so many reasons. And it's sad that it's the one that's most decimated by missing episodes.
Yeah, it saddens me that only 10 out of 44, something like that, episodes exist in the archives. Just what?
Which is, I mean, it doesn't feel. I don't know about you, but for me anyway, it doesn't really feel like that these days because we've got the animations.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because
a decade ago, we never could have.
Yeah.
The idea of marathoning the Troughton era from the start would have been. We'd have had to start with Tomb of the Cybermen if we wanted to marathon it on home media. But
yeah, exactly.
Now with the amazingness of animation, we can do that.
Yeah, exactly. And to the point where now, it's kind of funny, I sort of think in my head, oh, what's the season that's most affected by missing episodes? Season 3. Even though, of course, it's Season 4. But in my head, I go, oh yeah, Season 3, because we've got the least of that on home media. Which, yeah, it's interesting. It's nice that we've got a lot, and I know, obviously, I don't know if by the time this commentary goes up there'll be any news regarding the future of these animations, but
fingers crossed.
Yeah, and even if we don't get any more, we've done very well out of them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
we shouldn't. It's
just a shame because, particularly with Troughton, you feel so close to getting it all completed.
Well, that's it. What have we got left for Triton then? So we've got
only 3 stories for Troughton because we know Abominable Snowman is coming up this year. Yeah. The other 3 are Highlanders, Wheel in Space, and the Space Pirates. That's it.
Do you know what then? Don't bother. No, I'm joking. I am joking. I'm not a fan of any of those stories really. but of course,
I'd like to have the Highlander. I mean, out of those 3, if I had to pick which one I'd want the most, I'd probably say the Highlanders because it's Jamie's first story.
Yes, same.
But I reckon if they are going to do another, it'd probably be the Wheel in Space because of the Cybermen.
Cybermen, yeah, exactly. And it'd be cool to see what the Cybermen look like in this animation style. But I do agree. It'd probably be that. Highlanders would be great to see. I'm not a fan of the story, but a lot of that might be the fact that the reconstruction, and because that's the thing. I say I'm not a fan of these stories. A couple of them that I've only seen through reconstruction, but really, it's you can't get a proper grasp of it.
Yeah.
So
and
look what happened with Enemy of the World.
The music. Oh yeah, definitely. The music in the background here is Nobody Knows the Troubles I've Seen or something like that.
Yeah.
On broadcast, it was Paperback Writer by the Beatles, but had to be changed for the animation, or I think maybe for the repeat, for copyright reasons.
Yes, in most of the releases, you will not find the Beatles track, unfortunately. I don't know if you know this, but if you want to use a Beatles song in a film or TV show, be prepared to pay through the nose, because they charge so much money.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's why you don't hear their songs, like the original versions of the Beatles songs, in a lot of films.
I mean, I'm amazed they were able to afford Ticket to Ride on The Chase, but maybe that's where all the money went for The Chase.
Oh, I mean, for ages, that scene was edited out of The Chase, wasn't it? Again, because of the copyright thing.
I think so, yeah.
And in America, actually, if you buy The Chase in America, it doesn't have it on there. It makes you wonder what that'll be like when you get to the Blu-ray version, because I wonder if they'll probably have to renegotiate again. Which, but yeah, the it is a shame, but I saw a lot of fans kicking off on Twitter when this came out, saying it's not got the Beatles song in it, and I was just like, well, what did you expect? Like,
I reckon if Celestial Toymaker is animated, you're going to get that vocal minority who's probably going to complain that they cut out the scene where they say the N-word.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, we could say that again, like about the upcoming season 22 set with the
yes,
the Jim will fix it thing. You're never going to please anyone with that. If you don't include it, you'll get people saying it's incomplete, and if you do include it, you'll get people kind of rightfully saying it's really uncomfortable that he's on there. So it's a lose-lose situation.
I mean, just going back to the whole animations possibly being cancelled. I mean, at the Galaxy 4 screening, I did speak to Gary Russell, and just the way he suggested what stories could be animated, it didn't sound like someone who said, who was saying, oh, animations are going to be done soon. Because he was saying, he said, if I had to pick another Hartnell to animate, I'd probably choose the Celestial Toymaker, because it's quite a surreal one. Yeah. It lends itself quite well to animation, and yeah, it'd probably be one of those stories that would probably look better in colour, I think, because of all the clowns, dolls, and weird sets.
Toymaker would benefit a hell of a lot from the animation.
Yeah, because it's kind of boring to hear, Steven steps onto the chessboard or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like someone describing a football game.
Yeah, the loose cannon reconstruction, there's so many captions in it. So many times you see the scroll and caption because of the trying to describe the movement, and it's like, yeah, this is... I can't... That's the one story that I watched in the marathon where I was like, this is the only time I feel like I'm really genuinely haven't really watched the story, because it's so visual. And you can see that from episode 4, which still exists. It's such a visual story, whereas other times, I would watch the reconstructions and be like, yeah, I feel like I've experienced the story. But Celestial Toymaker, I came away from that thinking, well, I really don't feel like I have, and that was the only time that happened. And it's, so I would definitely love to see that animated one day. And I suppose it does go without saying, yes, please definitely cut out the M word.
Yeah, because I reckon if we're going to get another Hartnell animation, I think the two we're going to get are either the Celestial Toymaker or the Savages.
Oh, I'd love to see the Savages animated. That's a great story.
I did joke to him, to Gary Russell, how about Daleks Master Plan? He said, no.
Yes, yeah.
Because it's not... And he said, it's not just the case of it being 12 episodes, it's a very... in every episode, you're in a new location, you've got a new set of characters. Yes. Just imagine animating all of that.
Yeah, Master Plan hops around so much. There's kind of no way. It's kind of... in many ways, it's a shame, but at the same time, like, if they were to ever do it, it'd have to be a mammoth, like, undertaking to do. I mean, the loose cannon...
Because what we've heard about the animations being cancelled, it's just that, I don't know, a company's funding contract has ended, so it's just a case of finding a new company that will fund them.
Well, BBC America were funding it, and they...
That's it, yeah. And I saw a comment from someone who lived in America saying... honestly, the way they handled the animations over here was just ridiculous. They'd come out months after the UK version, and by that time, the hype had died down, so sales weren't as strong as they say they are in the UK. Yeah,
and I can definitely believe that, because most American fans, I know, have imported the UK versions because they don't come out for months, and they play over there fine. So it's like, why wouldn't you import the UK versions? I guess. And it's it's really, and I know a lot of people were panicking about the animation having lost their funding, but honestly, I'm not. Like, for ages we thought that the moon base would forever be the last one, and of course,
I reckon someone will pick it up.
Yeah, and it might not be tomorrow, and it might not be even in a year from now. We might have to wait quite a few years, but I fully believe that one day we'll get more. And it's I'm just kind of not really panicking about it. I know a lot. Twitter kind of lost its shit. And people were losing their minds over it, and I can see why, but at the same time, Yeah.
Well, it's the internet. They'll create any rumor.
Yeah, it's.
They'll take something and amplify it to it's the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly, and it's.
Oh yeah, just like to say, I remember seeing this at the BFI. At the end of every episode, the audience applauded.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that was nice to be part of. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's an incredible animation. It really is. I still, obviously having not watched it all the way through, but seeing the clips and just watching that episode there, it's pretty fantastic. And I think Macroterra is still my favourite, just because Macroterra, I love the movements of the characters in that. Like the something about the way the characters move in the Macroterra, I just adore.
Yeah,
but this is pretty incredible.
Yeah, and we're going to be moving into episode 2, where live action will temporarily take over. Yeah. In fact, episode 2 is quite interesting because it was originally supposed to be the final end for Ben and Polly.
Yes, because their contracts technically ended at in episode 2, but yeah.
Apparently Innes Lloyd was like, "Oh, I'm bored of them now. Get rid of them."
Yeah, and to be fair, they got paid in full, didn't they? For
they did,
for their services and everything.
At least, I mean, because they leave partway through Faceless Ones, but at least they get a goodbye scene at the end.
Yes, that's it, and
so I wonder,
it's a cleaner exit than
yeah.
Yeah,
I do wonder, had that, say, if they were in this story, would they have, I don't know, been with the Doctor and Jamie looking for the TARDIS? And let's say, because in this story, Waterfield knocks them out, gasses them, takes them to 1866. I wonder, would Ben and Polly have just been left behind, not knowing
I guess
what happened to them?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this episode 2, the live action version, obviously, hasn't had any new restoration done to it, has it?
No, honestly, I can't really tell the difference from the Lost in Time DVD.
Yes.
And also, just before I point out, Kennedy here, in the animation he was wearing a suit, but here he's wearing a jumper.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah.
But just going back to the restoration as well, this you're watching this on DVD, I'm watching this on Blu-ray, and I've got to say, it's looking quite rough.
I mean, funnily enough, on Galaxy 4, if you go to the black and white version, you can't have an option like this where you play the surviving episode 3 with the animation, and I find that such a shame.
Yeah,
because it's almost as if they're disregarding the live action one.
Yes.
But also, episode 2 does have an interesting history because it was bought by a film collector at a car boot sale in 1983. And the guy who bought it and he also bought the Faceless Ones episode 3 with this one, and he was unaware that it might have been the only copies in existence. So I think he returned them to the BBC in 1987.
Well, that's it. It's I have gone down the rabbit hole recently of missing episodes again, because I just find them so fascinating. I go through phases where I need all the information I can, and I think the craziest for me has to be the 2 episodes of Masterplan that were found in the basement of a Mormon church.
That is weird.
Bizarre, right? Like, it's likely that it was just an old BBC building or something, but
could have been, yeah.
It's just weird that, like, of all places. And if you ever get
all places, it's a church box, yeah.
Yeah, and if you ever get a chance, look up the story and listen to the interview with I believe it was Paul Scoons, who was heavily responsible for getting the Crusade episode 1 back, and it's a fascinating story, and it's because the guy was a film collector and he bought it. Bruce Grenville was his name, and there's an episode called the Missing Episodes podcast, and Paul Scoons was on that talking about it, and the journey to this guy's house because they've got a tip off, and they watched the Crusade episode 1, and then the negotiations that took place trying to get this back to the BBC. It's a fascinating story if you ever get a chance to hear it. It's yeah.
It is, yeah. Now I do wonder, how long has Waterfield had this shop set up?
Who knows?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Plus, he seems to be okay with being in 1966. He's not freaked out by modern things like cars and things like that. Because unless he doesn't go outside,
or you can infer that he's just kind of used to this weird shit by now. Like with
he's seen Daleks, so he's completely fine with this.
Yes, yeah, exactly, and it's kind of I don't mind it too much. And to be honest, I'm quite glad we don't get a whole section of that, because this story's got too much going on, and it's too long as it is.
Yeah, just watching Troughton's performance here, it's something that I'm glad his body language gets translated over into animation pretty well, particularly in this story.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Troughton is one of the most animated Doctors out there, and I don't mean just the animations that have been made, like just his performance is...
I do wonder, imagine if you're a kid, you're getting into Classic Who, you start with Power of the Daleks, you're like, oh wow, Doctor Who used to be a cartoon. You start Underwater. Oh, did Doctor Who devolve into a still photograph? Oh, it's live action now.
Well, you mentioned Underwater Menace there. Do you think we'll... I mean, when that comes to Blu-ray, we must get an updated recon, right? Like, or if it's not animated...
Again, I did ask Gary Russell about Underwater Menace, because so many rumours floated around, like, what happened with it, and he just said, I mentioned it before, but, they just ran out of funding for animating both the Moonbase and Underwater Menace, so they just thought, screw it, we're not going to put our time and effort into something that has zero budget, because it's going to look crap.
Yeah.
And, because I reckon you could... Yeah, I hope they do give it another try, because that recon on Underwater Menace is piss awful.
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
They don't even bother to put in a generic title sequence. Just there are people online who do better jobs than that for free.
And they weren't allowed to reorder the telesnaps or reuse any, which is why you get sections of like 5 minutes at a time with just the same photo. It's
because I mean, I've browsed through like the telesnaps on these stories, and they're a lot better like than Underwater Menace, because they're not too they don't stay 5 minutes on the same image.
I mean, I've mentioned loose cannon a few times already, and loose cannon for me are the gold standard when it comes to telesnap reconstructions, because they go to so much effort, of using Photoshop to approximate the scenes with stories where telesnaps don't exist. Daleks Master Plan uses a lot of CGI work. The reconstruction of this loose cannon, they actually went back to the house and filmed special scenes with someone filmed from behind in Victoria's costume, and so
they did.
It's and that's why I think loose cannon is just the gold standard. And in fact, that's what I did when I watched the Underwater Menace in the marathon. I didn't bother with the recon on the DVD. I watched the loose cannon one.
Yeah, because before the original Power of the Daleks animation came out, I was saying, it's such a shame the Doctor Who DVD range had to end on such a flaccid release as this one.
Yeah, it's a big shame.
But I'm glad it's still been kept going with animation.
Big shame, because and it wasn't their fault either. It wasn't the restoration team's fault. As it's well known that they offered to do a more complex reconstruction for free at no extra charge, and the BBC, for some unknown baffling business reason, turned it down. Like, I don't understand that at all. They were being offered something for free, a higher quality product at no extra charge. Why? Baffling. Honestly, baffling.
Why not use it? Yeah.
But you said
at this story, because I was just going to say, because Ben and Polly have gone, Jamie's now, I'd say it starts in the Faceless ones where Jamie finally starts to come into his own, because he's given a lot to do in this story, and thank God, because in the Moonbase it's like, it's you, the Phantom Paper.
The paper. Yeah, it's it's interesting actually. Most of season 4, Jamie is incredibly passive. Passive is not the right word, but he doesn't get a lot to do in season 4.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's really this story and Faceless ones where he comes into his own, and then obviously season 5, it's it's all Jamie all the time. But yeah, it's good to finally see him come to his own.
Yeah, the choices for the new companions, Faceless Ones and Evil of the Daleks, they were written to see who could be the new companion, and the choice was between Samantha Briggs and obviously Victoria Waterfield.
Yes.
And to be honest, I think they should have gone with Samantha Briggs, but I know Pauline Collins turned them down.
Yeah, Samantha Briggs was a pretty great character, and it would have been nice to see her.
Yeah. Now, it's funny, I remember just from the animation, this scene here of the shot of the Doctor waking up in the sitting room, the animation replaces that with an establishing shot of the exterior of the house, which pans around, and we go inside through the open door.
Okay.
Of the Doctor going, ooh, I'm awake, or something like that, yeah.
Interesting, okay. The Master.
I do like the contrast between Max Dibble and Waterfield, because they represent both the best and the worst of humanity. Waterfield, the best, because yes, he takes part in these horrible things like murder and kidnap, but he's only doing it for the love he has for his daughter.
Yes.
Whereas Max Dibble is doing this for his own ends, for greed and knowledge. And it's interesting that the Daleks exploit both of these elements with them.
And it's cool, like I know what you mean. Like, this is the first time, really, that the plot is actually getting going, and it's like,
you get
could cut a lot of like Jamie and the Doctor dicking about in the coffee shop.
You don't need it.
You don't need, and it's not like it's any good character beats in there. It's just they are just.
I mean, David Whittaker, he does the same effing thing in The Wheel in Space, episode 1. Nothing happens.
Yes.
It's just the Doctor giving Jamie effing lemon sherbet.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
Yes, get on with it. Yeah. It's
I mean, at least with Wheel in Space, though, at least with this story, no one stops to, I don't know, go to the online library to look up facts.
Yeah.
Seriously, they effing do that in The Wheel in Space.
Yeah, The Wheel in Space is not very good. It's still better than the Space Pirates.
I'm baffled by those surviving clips, because I swear that fight scene, one of them is saying, "And manly arse me buckle."
Yeah. Oh,
like,
God.
What the fuck?
And actually,
now it wasn't originally an actress called Denise Buckley was cast as Victoria, but for some reason she decided to drop out, and and she was replaced with Deborah Watling. And I'll say this: I'm happy we have got her first ever on-screen appearance. That's nice to have.
It's really nice, and especially with the fact that so many of her stories are missing. It's like...
funnily enough, with the Abominable Snowman, she's going to be the first companion from the 60s to have all her material available on home media.
Oh, yeah.
That line got a huge laugh. You will not feed the flying pests outside.
It's a cool line, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, Daleks Master Plan, Power and Evil of the Daleks, they have got the best Dalek voices ever. They are heavenly to listen to.
They're so good. They're so good.
Yeah. Now, hold on a minute. Next shot. Where is it? Hello, camera. Oh, bye.
No, back away.
Can we retake that? No. I mean, we're junking this episode next week, so don't bother.
Well, you mentioned that, actually. Wasn't it the Highlanders was the first story to be wiped, right?
I think it might have been, yeah.
And it wasn't that...
And
I
also,
think it was like a month after it was transmitted or something. It was so quick.
Yeah, and because of script problems for the Underwater Menace, because that was a last-minute replacement, it meant that... they were making the episodes 1 week before transmission.
Yeah.
Just wow. I don't think I could have coped.
No, I couldn't have. It's absolutely bonkers, and I can totally sympathise with Triton, especially by season 6.
Yeah, because he takes a holiday in this story. Because in episode 4, he's, apart from small scenes where he's on a computer, he's completely absent.
Yeah. And it's kind of... Yeah, I think when you get to season 6, you can just feel the fatigue.
Because I think because they made a deal for season 6, they said we only work on one story at a time. We're not pulled out of rehearsals to go on location for another story, because they said it was ridiculous. For example, I think the location work they did for Fury from the Deep, they were pulled out of rehearsals for like halfway through the Web of Fear.
Yeah.
Just... I swear, Maxtable calls him Whitefield here.
Whitefield?
Yeah. Oh, and funnily enough, you see Maxtable smoking a cigar there. In the animated version, he never smokes it, he just holds it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because...
Animation complication, maybe, or...?
Maybe they can't show animated characters smoking.
Maybe.
Don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, it's difficult because there are a lot of rules surrounding that. But it's not like... I mean, who's going to be buying this if not hardcore Doctor Who fans? I don't know.
True, yeah. Now, the original idea for this story was that the Daleks would take the TARDIS and get Waterfield to make the Doctor time travel backwards to 20,000 BC.
Yeah.
So they can experiment on a random human primitive called Og.
I mean...
And it was... and apparently the Doctor and Jamie would split up, and Jamie would go to the Dalek City, because Victoria was originally held hostage there, but here they've changed it where saving Victoria is part of the test. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And funny enough, when this story was being made, there was Terry Nation had written a pilot script for the Daleks' own spin-off series, and I think he was even looking for studio space when this story was made, but never couldn't find any, couldn't get backing for it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm quite... I'm never really that sad that that the Dalek spin-off never went ahead.
Yeah, because I wonder, would the Daleks have been the heroes or the villains? Because would it have been like Mission to the Unknown, where, space agents try to stop them every week, but the Daleks kill them? So are they heroes or villains?
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a Mission to the Unknown style thing, to be honest. But, I mean, who knows? It's interesting. But, I mean, Terry Nation's script gets so repetitive as they go along, especially by the time you get to, like, the Third Doctor's run of Dalek stories, which aren't the strongest.
Well, apparently the Destiny of the Daleks, they only wanted the Daleks in that story because they were scared that Terry Nation was going to bring them into Blake 7.
Yes.
Meaning that Doctor Who could have lost the Daleks forever.
Which would have been mad, like...
Yeah, that would have been mad, because...
Yeah. I love that reveal. We talked over it, but I do love the reveal of the Daleks, though.
The 60s, they really knew how to reveal a Dalek for the cliffhanger.
Oh,
like, the one coming out of the water in Invasion of Earth, coming out of the sand in The Chase.
Oh yeah.
Brilliant. But I think my favourite bit in The Chase is in send a squad to dig the ship free, yes, and we will exterminate the fugitives, yes.
Yeah, I love.
Well, see to it.
Honestly, I love The Chase. I know it's not the best story in the world, but it's so funny. It's so much fun.
Yeah, as a comedy, it is hilarious.
It is hilarious. I think it's
in
so
an
much
ironic
fun.
way. Mm-hmm.
I honestly think it's so much fun.
I mean, Asylum of the Daleks actually makes The Chase funnier because they say the Daleks in intensive care are survivors of Iridius. So you're telling me there's a Dalek in that story so traumatised by, I don't know, the Doctor going, "Oh, magic!"
Yes, yeah. It's in intensive care. That one Dalek from Death to the Daleks as well that absolutely shits itself.
Yeah, because it failed.
The female prisoner has escaped. I have failed. And it just shits itself and blows up.
Yeah.
I love it. But yeah, I do love the Doctor's reaction there with the Daleks, and they come out and
it is great. It's
a wonderful moment.
Rage in the controlled rage in Troughton's face is terrific. It's like the one enemy he didn't want to have taking his TARDIS. It just makes it even more insulting. And
I think it's it's wonderful that we have that moment as well, because it's a wonderful little bit of acting from Troughton.
I do find it a shame Deborah Watling is no longer with us, because I think she would have loved the animation for Evil of the Daleks, and particularly Fury from the Deep, because she did say those were the stories she wanted back the most.
Yes, yeah.
And this was definitely the second best option.
Definitely. I completely agree. Yeah, it's and she was very young when she did this, right? She was 19 or 18.
It was,
18, 19, something like that.
I think she was 19, yeah.
Very young, and she's great. Like,
because her dad, Jack Watling, was an actor as well, so I think that's how she got into the business.
And I mean, you say what you will about Victoria as a character, but I think she's always great. Deborah Watling, no issues with her at all.
I just think Victoria just screams too much and is just scared all the time. Yeah, I'd say her best story, it's probably Enemy of the World, where she's taking part in all the espionage and spying stuff. Yeah, heck, she even goes to hit Salamander, like, hey, where did this Victoria come from?
To be honest with you, I quite like her arc of, like, as a character, just showing that some people aren't cut out for this lifestyle. And I quite like how she leaves in Fury from the Deep.
True,
she's just like,
in Fury,
this isn't for me.
Yeah, because I do like her departure scene in that, because throughout the story she's like, Daleks, Cybermen, Yeti, every time we're always running into trouble. Which, yeah, she never asked for, because she practically becomes an orphan by the end of the story, so she wants another family.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's good that she gets that in Fury from the Deep, yeah.
Yeah, I like that arc, and it's just, like I say, it's an interesting way of showing that, that there are certain people who just aren't cut out to be aboard the TARDIS, and she was one of them.
Yeah.
It's just not for her. And I quite like that. I'm almost 100% sure that wasn't the intention, but
yeah. But in hindsight, we can analyse it like that.
Yeah, exactly. God, you're right. These Dalek voices are pretty perfect, aren't they?
Yeah, it's the first time Roy Skelton voiced them.
And again, it's like of all the episodes of Evil of the Daleks, why couldn't it have been episode 7 that exists? You know?
Yeah, episode 6 or 7 that would have been great. Yeah, I want my child Daleks to exist.
Yes, yeah.
There will be no delay. No, it just took us 45 minutes to get here.
Yeah, exactly. it literally has as well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, whenever I see the name Robert Jewell in the credits, I do just think of The Feast of Stephen, because he's the one who not only is he in that, playing, I believe, Buster Keaton or Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, cool.
But he saved the telesnaps for that story, because they weren't commissioned, and he...
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, they weren't commissioned, but he was like, no, I want a record of my acting in this, so he did them himself.
Ah, cool.
So that's why we have photos
The Feast of Stephen, it quite possibly has the First Doctor's worst line in it. Oh, this place is a madhouse, it's full of Arabs.
Yes, which isn't...
Oh, wow.
Which isn't great.
Fortunate, no.
But it also has... Merry Christmas to all of you at home. Woohoo! You know.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one just thought, oh, just cut it out, but no, because it really annoyed them when he just broke the fourth wall like that.
What I love about that is you can hear Peter Purvis sort of going, hey, in the background as if to try and cover it, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's... It's so fun. Feast of Stephen, genuinely, obviously we've got no chance of it ever turning up, because it's the one episode of Doctor Who that we can say for certain we will never ever see again, because it's the one that was wiped with no copy. But it is genuinely, and I know it'll never happen, but it is genuinely one of my most wanted missing episodes back, just to see how bizarre it is, because it is like the audio and the reconstruction. It is friggin' bizarre. And I kind of can't believe that it was broadcast. There's a great documentary about it by the YouTube channel Daleks 6388. They did a brilliant little half-an-hour documentary on the Feast of Stephen, and I highly recommend that. It's a fascinating video, so definitely watch that. But it really does put into perspective how weird that episode is.
Right, what is the point of capturing Jamie here? I don't get it.
Because it means the story can be extended by another half an hour.
Yeah, because the thing is, if Arthur Terrell ordered it, and let's say he was under Dalek conditioning when he did that, that doesn't make sense for the Daleks, because they need him to do the test. Just, what?
There's a lot of that in this story, and it's why...
Unless, this is me really stretching it here, unless it was the real Arthur Terrell breaking through the Dalek conditioning, saying, you must get this young man to stop those evil creatures, or some shit like that, but that's never explained, because... Because Arthur Terrell, he's a bit pointless, because it takes the Doctor 3 episodes to think, there's something not right with this man. Let's take him away from here.
It's just this, like, the whole thing with this story is just, it's decent. It's a decent story, but it's like, when people say...
Again, it's too... Yeah. There's too many dangling threads, as we've said. Threads. It's not as tightly written as Power of the Daleks.
Not at all. And the fact that people always say, oh, it's one of the greatest things Doctor Who has ever done. I'm like, well, take out the Emperor at the end. Take out the big spectacle. What do you have as a story? Like, actually look at it. Like, what do we have? And obviously, I'm not like trying to take away from people's love for it at all. But yeah, it's it's just like I can't. Yeah, I don't know. And
the Dalek CGI models here in the animation, they look fantastic.
Oh, they look incredible. They really, and I love the the iris as well. Moving, it's brilliant. But even like lines like that, right? Like coming back to this whole thing where it's not as tightly written. So Victoria says, "Why are you moving me? Am I going back to my father? No, you are being moved."
The Dalek never answers her. It's just, you're being moved.
No, you are being moved. It's like, right, so that's just filled another 5 seconds of the screen time then. Because it's such an awkward, like... The Dalek could have just said nothing and said, "Come with me" or something. It's just the fact they're repeating the line, it's just awkwardly written. And I just...
Yeah. But I know this is padding, but I do love the music here. It's gorgeous.
The music's great in this story. The music is fantastic.
Yeah, I almost love that. It was in episode 2, that sting of when the Dalek appears. I love how intrusive it is. It's to suggest that, the Daleks should not be here.
Yes.
They're interrupting this tranquil Victorian place which should be left alone.
Yeah.
Now, coming up here is the big... it's what I call it led to the big shuffle in the room when this was at the BFI because of Kemmel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could hear a few people just go, oh, yeah.
It's unfortunate, isn't it?
I mean, to be honest, it's only really Maxtable, as he says here, he's rather simple, he's quite dumb, which makes sense because A, he's the villain, and B, he's a Victorian gentleman who doesn't know any better. But, Jamie treats him as an equal, and everyone, and all the other characters do, I think, because there's a bit in episode 4 where he's bowing to Jamie and he says, "Oh, we'll have none of that. We're going to be friends in this."
That's good.
Which is a nice moment.
I think it's just the stereotype of the only person of colour in the story is the big, imposing...
Yeah, the big hulking silent person who doesn't say anything.
The fact that happens again in the very next story is also unfortunate.
Yeah, it's funny. The Innisloyd era, it was quite... in some ways it was a step forward in representation, but it was also a step backwards, because you had actors like Earl Cameron and I can't remember the actress who played Faria in Enemy of the World. I think, people of colour in prominent roles. In fact, Earl Cameron was the first black actor to play an astronaut in film and television on the 10th Planet. But on the other hand, you had actors like Elroy James playing that pirate in The Smugglers, and from what I understand, he doesn't say anything, he just babbles like a lunatic. And then you've got Kemmel and Toberman in Tomb of the Cybermen, which mixed, but in some areas it was good to have actors like Earl Cameron pop up in the 10th Planet.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just want to point out, where are Kemmel's nipples in the animation? it's like Aladdin, isn't it? The Disney film, they're not there.
Yeah, they just yeah.
Yeah, because Sonny Cardenas, who plays Kemmel, was later played an Ice Warrior in all of the times they appeared on television.
Yes, yeah.
I think he's in The Man with the Golden Gun as well as a henchman.
I think he is, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's that John Pertwee story that I think you told during our commentary for Curse of Paladin.
Yeah, apparently, he was just walking down the street, heard a screech of a car, didn't turn around. Next thing he knew, he was being lifted off the ground by someone. He thought, who the hell's this? And turned around, it was John Pertwee.
Yeah.
And Sonny Cardenas, he's still alive. He's in his late 80s now.
He is, yeah.
And I think he had a career as a wrestler as well.
It is interesting. So they didn't really cut much of Kemmel out of this for the animation, which it does make you wonder how they're going to do, if they ever do, the Crusade, which I don't think they will, but what are they going to do with the problematic elements in that? Because Marco Polo as well, actually, because Marco Polo has a lot of yellow face in it, unfortunately.
It does, yeah.
And the Crusade has a lot of blackface.
I mean, the Talons of Weng Chiang in 2020, it did get a public screening at the BFI,
yeah. That's it. It's kind of interesting how they'll handle it.
But obviously, because we can't change or erase the past, we just, all we've got to do is learn from it.
Yes, exactly.
I'll say this story did benefit from being in colour, because it's predominantly set in a Victorian house, and history always looks better in colour, I think.
Oh god, yeah, definitely.
We do not trust you, so it's okay, we're just going to leave you on your own, to your own devices, where you could clearly sabotage our experiments.
Yeah, it's just like...
But we'll come in the room and say, we don't trust you.
That's what I mean. It's frustrating because the power of the Daleks is so well written and so well done. It's just like
I don't think the Daleks are written well here, because it's an interesting idea that these creatures full of hate and racism are trying to discover how humans keep defeating them. And but because they eventually discover the human factor and discover, it's useless, it's full of compassion and love and kindness, which is a weakness to us. And I do wonder, is Arthur Terrell supposed to be a prototype for what they want humans to be? Because they find he's under control of the Daleks, so was that the original plan before they
got
the Dalek factor and spread it through humanity? I don't know. Apparently, this story was one of Patrick Troughton's favourites.
Yeah.
Now, I do wonder why. Is it because he got a holiday?
Yeah, probably. Well, I think him saying that has probably contributed a lot to the reputation of this as well, right?
Yeah, because he did try to get this made as a direct-to-video feature film in the mid-1980s.
Yes.
Well, remade, I should say. That would have been an interesting idea. Though, I think it was 2006, there was a stage production version of this, and there's a stage version of Fury from the Deep as well.
Yes. Which is kind of... Because there's images of, like, the Emperor... The Dalek Emperor on the stage version and stuff, and it's pretty cool.
I mean, speaking of Doctor Who on stage, I'm hoping I can go to Doctor Who Time Fracture this year.
Oh yeah.
It was cancelled last time because of flooding, and I might do it during my Comic-Con weekend. Maybe go to Time Fracture Saturday, go to the convention Sunday, something like that in July.
Oh yeah, that thing's had a hell of a bumpy road, isn't it? Because it's been cancelled so many times because of the flooding that happened and COVID as well. Yeah.
I mean, I'm jealous of all the people going to Comic-Con as of recording this commentary this weekend on the 26th because they're going to get to meet Jodie Whittaker.
Yes, yeah. Which actually, the Big Blue Box podcast made a very interesting point, and I hadn't thought of it. So it makes you wonder how close they're going to leave it to confirm whether Jodie's actually going to be there or not, because a lot of these guests pull out last minute, and we now know that she's pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, because I did wonder when they announced her. Some people asked her, "Will she be there in the summer?" But admins on Facebook, on their Facebook page, replied, said, "No, this is the only one she's doing at LFCC this year." And because she's pregnant, I don't think she'll do the summer one, which is a shame.
I really thought because of her pregnancy that she'd cancel, because she's I imagine she would have to be super careful now, right, with COVID and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
So I thought it wouldn't surprise me if she pulls out last minute, to be honest, but we shall see. I hope not for everyone going, I hope not. But
and then not my doctor morons are going to use that as fuel to say how she's the worst person ever.
Well, she's definitely going to have a screen, I imagine, right? Like a screen for photo ops, because I mean, fair enough.
It's funny. I remember last year for the October MCM convention, there was the Tom Hiddleston one where. Yeah, I find it a shame. People were paying like £100 or £200 just to get a photo of him next to a screen.
Yeah.
And people were joking, look, they were photoshopping themselves in, look, I met Tom Hiddleston too.
Oh, yeah. It is, and it's one of these things where it's like, I mean, can we really help that though? I mean, we're in a pandemic. It's a bit like...
That's true, yeah. Well, I mean, as of recording this week, the government plans to end all isolation rules on COVID, so I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I will have to see about that, because who knows what. Yeah.
I do like this dynamic between the Doctor and Jamie, that Jamie thinks that the Doctor is being selfish here, he's going to sell them all out to the Daleks just so he can get his TARDIS back. And it's something I do like, because Jamie does say at the end, you and me, we're finished. You don't care much for a living soul except yourself.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing to have, but I just wish there was a scene like in episode 6 or 7 where Jamie says, Doctor, I'm sorry, I was wrong about you. You do care about us. Because, again, it's just kind of left dangling and there's no real conclusion to it.
Well, that's it, which is a shame. I love the conflict. I love the conflict it sets up, and I love the concept of challenging it like this. But it is, I agree with you. It is sort of like, well, there's no resolution to that, though. It does just get dropped.
Yeah, I mean, it baffles me that in the 60 years Doctor Who has been on screen, they've never done a companion departure where the two fall out or something like that, where the Doctor and companion, vow just to never speak to each other or see each other again.
Yeah.
Like, the closest we got is the massacre, because Stephen says, because they allow Anna Chaplet to be part of history, Stephen just says, wherever this machine lands, I'm getting off. Then in the very next scene, he comes back.
Yeah, and I mean...
Which is a shame, but... I suppose the closest we got after that was maybe Clara in fact, the ending of Kill the Moon, if that was Clara's last episode, that could have been awesome.
Yes, Kill the Moon's the closest we got, and then... Because I remember at the time I got a lot of stick for saying, I thought it was annoying how she is just immediately back in the next episode, and a lot of people were like, oh, well, that was always the point, that's a stupid criticism. And I'm sort of like, well, Was it though? Like, because that ending of Kill the Moon makes a big statement, and I wish they had kind of because I think everyone knew she was coming back, but like actually, I don't know. I wish they'd stuck with it for a while. Do you know what I mean? Like, just kind of cement it a bit.
Mm-hmm. This man's having what looks like a seizure. I'll just hit him over the head.
Yes.
Wow.
that's what you do in these scenarios. That's
Mm-hmm. Now, it's on one of the commentaries. Gary Watson, who plays Arthur Terrell, I think Toby Haydock says, now Gary Watson couldn't be with us, but he did write a special letter that I'll read out, and it says, I really enjoyed working on Evil of the Daleks. I particularly enjoyed the sword fight I had with Fraser Hines.
Yes.
That's really nice. And also, if you go to episode 5, there's an archive interview with Derek Martinus.
Yes, which is really nice.
The director. Yeah, because he sounds so happy that Patrick and... Because it was recorded in 1984, and the interviewer says, well, you'll be happy to know that Patrick and Fraser are coming back in a serial called The Two Doctors with the current Doctor, Colin Baker. And he says, oh, you're joking, that's wonderful.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I'm just sort of like, this for me is kind of where the story just coasts, because it's just episode after episode of Jamie essentially just doing the same thing. Just different games, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just...
Well, I'll say this, I do think the whole Jamie taking a test, it's much better when you've got a visual rather than just relying on still photographs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Celestial Toymaker problem, where it's much better to watch it rather than hear someone describe it to you.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, this is quite an achievement in terms of animation, because if you look at animated films, they're typically an hour and a half long, and this is double that length. This is nearly 3 hours, and the fact that they animated this in full, in colour, and it turned out this good is quite something, because I think they spent 18 months on this one rather than a year, which is what most animations get.
Yes, a factor in why this has turned out so polished is because they had so much longer on this, and I really hope it sort of shows that the people commissioning this... I agree with what Stu Bagful says about these animations. There is no rush. These things, a lot of these animations are going to be lost forever. These episodes are going to be lost forever, and that is just the facts. And it's like, yeah, take all the time that you need to get these looking as good as they can be. It's kind of annoying, like when the original Power of the Daleks was so rushed. What was it, 6 months?
Oh god, Power of the Daleks. Yeah, well, I think they were originally given 10 months for it.
Yes.
It then became 8 months, and then finally it became about 5. And apparently, according to the producer of that animation, they said what we released wasn't deemed suitable for, say, broadcast.
Yeah, it didn't pass quality control.
That's it. It doesn't pass quality control. Just wow.
Ofcom didn't deem it acceptable for broadcast, and it's like, what was the reason? Because they wanted it to be for the Power of the Daleks' 50th anniversary, as if that really matters.
But I think a lot of the animators said, "Look, who cares about the effing anniversary? Can't we just get this out in our own time?"
Yeah, and it showed, and that's the fucking reason we had to buy it again for the special edition. And I'm not complaining about the special edition, because I thought it was a big improvement. But it's just the fact that we had to do that. It was kind of like, well, we wouldn't have had to do that had we been given this level of quality, initially.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a cool. I like the music on the cliffhanger for that.
Yeah, for when we see Camel, that's really good.
Bum bum blight. I love that.
And I think,
yeah,
Dudley Simpson's music is great in this. It's fantastic. I love the use of flutes and I'm no good on instruments. I mean, at least it's not yeah. That's my Kerry Blyton music impression.
At least it's not wah 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 from Death of the Daleks.
Kerry Blyton, who did that music, he wrote the music Bananas in Pyjamas.
Do you know, that doesn't surprise me.
I'm not making that up.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yep.
Because that's the last story I watched in the ongoing Doctor Who rewatch marathon thing, and that's the last one I watched. And the music in that story, some of it is actually really cool. Like, I really love the Exelon chant. I think that's great.
Mm-hmm,
but then
that's
it's just
good,
the thing for the Daleks
the whole,
is baffling.
Yeah. It
sounds like a comedy. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Graham Strong, he's become a meme. Graham Strong's audio tapes are considered the highest quality.
Oh yeah. So, what does exist?
Yeah, if you want information on missing episodes, just check out Josh Nair's documentary series. It's fantastic.
Oh god, yeah. Like, I mean, just check out Josh Nair's channel anyway, because Josh is
it's brilliant. He's one of the nicest YouTubers around, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And so just produces some of the best content out there, I think. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I love the Odyssey series he does. Like he hasn't done one in ages, but I used to love the like the one he did on video games and the one he did on Doctor Who CGI replacements. That was good. CGI replacements.
Now this fight scene coming up, having listened to this story on audio, I do think it's been trimmed down, because I remember it going on a bit longer in the audio. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I should have mentioned earlier, this was actually the first Doctor Who audio story I listened to. I got it in the summer of 2009 when I was 11 years old.
Ah, nice.
And I was like, I'm listening to Doctor Who on audio. This is so cool. Yeah, I had this, Daleks Master Plan, Power of the Daleks, The Massacre, and I actually had the Web of Fear. I got that Christmas 2011, and literally 18 months later, it was found.
Well, it would have been fine by then, right? They just didn't announce it.
It would have been, yeah. They hadn't announced it yet. Must have been fate.
Oh god. Watching this now, the fight is so much better than the reconstruction, the loose cannon one.
Yeah, than still photographs.
They did their best on that, but it's so difficult to make an engaging fight scene out of still photos, and this is an improvement on like many of the other hand-to-hand combat scenes we've seen in other animations. I think this the added like motion blur, I think, is great. Like, it's such a cool. And the impact and the way the camera moves and stuff, you can tell that this is stuff that's been added with the extra time they've had, right? Like, because it's effects that have been placed on top of the animation that just make the world of difference.
Definitely, yeah. And the fight scene, and also the scenes of the Daleks going through the house, that was shot at Grimsdyke, is that what it's called?
I think so.
Grimsdyke Hotel, yeah, which it's still around, but I think it's really expensive to book a room there.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
I don't know if it was a hotel when they filmed it there, but it's definitely one now.
Yes.
Yeah. That music cue there sounded an awful lot like the Masters theme from the new series. You know, the matching the drums.
I'm glad I'm not the only one thinking that.
Yeah. That swinging pendulum, that became very sore. Hey, episode 4, this is practically a Doctor Who doing Saw.
Yeah, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to say, watching this now, I am enjoying this a bit more than the reconstruction, just so we can see the fight scenes. Just actually seeing the fight scenes, that does sort of make the padding feel a lot less prevalent. I still think it's stretching it a bit, but it's not. Now that I can actually see it, I'm quite I'm enjoying it a lot more than I did.
And this is Patrick Troughton in Ealing because he was on holiday for episode 4.
Yeah.
Now, I do wonder, at the start of each production block, did they have to let the production team know this is when we're taking holidays, so you can write us out for a week or two?
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed for season 1, I think that's the only time where, if you go to the second half of that season, from Keys of Marinus to Reign of Terror, in each of those stories, the main cast are absent for 2 episodes, not just 1.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe they were more lenient to start with. Keys of Marinus, I love it. You mean you're going to go 2 jumps ahead and find the 4th key? Hartnell was probably like, a screaming jungle and the ice. I'm not going through that. I'm off on holiday.
Fuck this shit.
Oh yeah, if you watch the Censorites as well, I think Barbara's absent for episode 4 and 5. If you look at her in episode 3, she looks a bit pale. Episode 6, she's come back with a lovely tan.
Yeah, and even though it's black and white, you can still see that their skin is noticeably darker because they've been off in Spain somewhere.
I mean, have you checked out that Holiday for the Doctor documentary on the Space Museum DVD?
Yes, yeah, it's very good.
That guy why is he in drag? I don't get it. I need to ask whoever makes the DVD features about that. That's a question for Chris Chapman.
Maybe, yeah.
If he ever worked on that, yeah. I'd just like to say, who or what were you on? Were you thinking when you made that documentary of that guy being in drag saying, now let's have a look at all these holidays that each of the regulars took. Let's look at the Reign of Terror. Oh look, it's by Richard Martin. Still owes me a fiver.
I forgot about that.
So fucking weird. Again, I watched that documentary and just realised it's on the Space Museum, a story that no one likes, and it's not even got a making of documentary. All you've got is that Holiday documentary and Rob Sherman trying to defend it for 7 minutes. I also realised Deborah Watley is on holiday for this, apparently, because the only time she appears in this episode is when the Daleks go, name, Victoria Waterfield, you know my name. Yeah.
Again, padding.
This is another pointless moment.
Yep.
There's more pointless scenes in this than The Room. I've probably lost the whole audience by saying that. I'm only joking.
Oh, God. That's the thing. We opened this commentary being extremely negative, and I was just like, if anyone is still watching,
Mm-hmm. I do like how angry the Daleks get every time someone dares to question them or say why or something like that. They just go, "Obey me," like as if they're completely unhinged and losing control. And when they hear other Daleks do it in episode 7, they go fucking berserk.
Yes, yeah.
They're like, "Oh, bro." I love the dynamic that Waterfield and Maxtable have.
Yes.
Because it's Maxtable who's manipulating, saying, "Oh, yes, people die, but it's not us shooting them or killing them."
It's very well done, yeah.
Yeah. Because Marius Goring, who played Maxtable, he might have been the most prolific guest star that Doctor Who had had up to that point, because he'd been in a lot of films and TV.
Yeah, he was quite a big actor, wasn't he? Well, relatively big, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Apparently, a lot of times in his life he was bankrupt, but
oh, really?
Not for being reckless, but yeah, because he was in court a lot of the time, protesting for actors' rights.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, that is cool. And again, it's a great contrast because Baxter was saying, yes, people die, but what of it? We're going to get what we want, aren't we? But with Waterfield, every time someone dies, he feels that seeing Victoria again is going to hurt more because he knows what's happened, all the awful things that have happened just to get her back. And it's really well done, I think.
It's gone a bit master. You will obey me.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I mean, I remember watching this and thinking, if they can do 7 episodes of this in colour, maybe they could do the same for Marco Polo.
Yeah, I would. I mean, Marco Polo is a story where it is like that. I refuse to believe none of it exists. Like, it must be there somewhere.
It's one of those stories that was sold to like the most countries. This was Marco Polo, I think, was sold to over 30 countries, whereas Dalek's Master Plan was sold to 1, and we've got at least a quarter of it that exists.
It's mad,
where
right?
Marco Polo, none of it exists. There's not even a clip.
It's so weird. It's so weird, and it's and that's the thing. Not even a clip. We have nothing from it, and that is baffling to me. I don't know if it's all out there, but it must exist somewhere, right? Like
there must be an episode. There must be
genuinely, there must be at least 1 or 2 episodes out there. I honestly, because
I mean, part of me doesn't want to find any missing episodes because I think I'll just turn into a massive arsehole like Ian Levine and Philip Morris. I mean, missing episodes like The One Ring, they're rare.
Yeah.
They're precious. You find them, they corrupt you.
I think so. I genuinely think so. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like,
yeah, because Philip Morris loves to collaborate with Not My Doctors.
Even outside of that, Philip Morris is just like the amount of times he posts, best get your Troughton and Fraser Hines t-shirts ready or something. Like, he'll just tweet stuff like that, purposely to rile people up and make people think he's found something. Like, and he'll just be going, and he'll just always go, announcement soon. Get Troughton fans at the ready and stuff, and it's like he's been doing that for like 5 years. But yeah, Marco Polo. It's absolutely. Oh, wouldn't it be such a treat if for the 60th we got all 7 episodes back? That'd be amazing.
Yeah, imagine if they were saying that for the 60th anniversary, because the Enemy of the World and Web of Fear, they were announced for the 50th. Yeah,
I mean, it would. I'm not sure if you remember, but around the time of the 50th anniversary, I don't know if you ever remember this. It was quite a thing.
It was the Omni rumor, wasn't it?
Not just that, not the Omni rumor. There was another thing where it was like loads of members of the community were like saying, "Oh, the BBC are definitely hiding Marco Polo," because I think on for like April Fools on 2013, they put a listing up for it on the BBC shop, and and people didn't realise it was on April 1st, and it got people thinking, oh, they're hiding it, they're saving it for the 60th, and that was quite a big thing for ages. But yeah, I fully expect. I might be wrong, but I fully expect we'll get something for the 60th in terms of missing episodes, whether that just be one episode or even just a clip of an episode. I before the 60th, I think we'll get something, because we know of those 6 that private collectors have.
We do, yeah.
So yeah, it's just a matter of time, I think. And I've said it before. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, private collectors, they need to hand over their tapes because we it's selfish that they have it," and it's like, but I agree, but they're better there.
They have to be paid, don't they?
And they're in safer hands there than they are in some dusty storeroom in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
We know that they're with people who are going to look after them, even if they're not going to let go of them. We know that they're being looked after, if that makes sense, which I think is cool. They're better there than anywhere else.
Snivelling little minks, just wow.
Snivelling little minks, yeah. Not sure you get away with that today. You probably would, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just sort of feel like this is cool.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
It's just not. It's so.
I mean, it's well acted. I just don't understand the point of.
Yes, exactly.
Of Arthur Terrell and his daughter, like
exactly. It's so
because unlike Waterfield and Maxtable, they don't as characters. They don't really have thematic weight. They don't represent like the best or worst of humanity because Arthur Terrell's clearly under control.
I completely agree.
Yeah. And to be honest, even when he's not under control, he seems like a bit of an arsehole anyway.
Yeah. It's just so out of the way of everything else. It's
Yeah. I love this. The bitch slap the Dalek gives him here.
Yes, I do like.
It's coming.
I don't know if you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the meme that Mr. TARDIS posted of the old. Do you remember the old meme from about 10 years ago of the guy getting punched in the face and going, "Oh fuck! I can't believe you've done this."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mr. TARDIS put that audio over the Dalek slapping Maxtable. It's so funny.
I can't believe you've done this.
It was synced so well to the visuals as well. Maxtable just falls to the floor. Oh fuck! I can't believe you've done this.
I do love this. His knowledge and thirst for power is his undoing. He ends up becoming. He wants secrets from the Daleks, but he just ends up becoming like one of them.
Yeah.
Poetic justice. I think it's great.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, this was used in the trailer that you see on YouTube. Yeah, nobody will stop me. Nobody.
Yes.
Ruth saying, "Why is Arthur so changed? My dear, these are questions I cannot answer." The viewer asking David Whittaker, "So, what's up with Arthur?" "I cannot answer that."
I don't know.
I mean, is it possible to turn metal into gold?
I guess.
I'm not too sure if it does exist alchemy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll say this about the animation: the body language is really good as well, because there's that temptation to have them just wave their arms about all the time and just be completely wild, but yeah, I think the body language is used very well.
Oh, for sure. And also, like, it's just like, compare this to oh, for fuck's sake, we're still on this shit. Sorry. We're still on this shit, and they're still stood there, and they're still like knelt down waiting. Oh my god. Sorry, like, yeah, compare this to, like, the Fury from the Deep animation, where character models in that are just sort of weird and off model and just sort of stood there a lot of the time. There's so much life to these character models and the way they move, like you say. Yeah. I
mean, just compare it to the Web of Fear, where I said, you know, they move like C-3PO.
Yes.
Just look at the Brigadier's eyes. He's practically got he's got what I call Winnie the Pooh eyes, you know, those just little black dots that you find on a teddy bear. Yeah. It's weird.
So bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I've only seen the clips of that Web of Fear one, but I still say, when they released that clip of the Yeti coming through the doors, the best thing about that clip is how the characters constantly clipped through each other and the environment. Like, arms were just going through objects. Characters were just walking through solid objects. It's just, oh, yeah. That's quality.
Yep. And I remember watching this at the BFI, there was a 15-minute break between episodes 4 and 5.
Which,
I think everyone needed, yeah.
That's probably... Yeah, I think everyone needed that. I think I'd struggle a bit to...
Yeah, because I know the next one is Revelation of the Daleks. I'm gutted I can't go, because it's my favourite Dalek story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm still absolutely pumped for season 22 to come out. Cause,
I love the cover.
Yeah, it's the one I wanted to come out the most.
You know, actually, I don't think I've pre-ordered it yet. I'm going to get on that as soon as this commentary's done.
Do it.
Yeah, because when's it out? Do we have a release date for that yet?
Well, I remember when it was rumoured, like, when there was a listing of it that got leaked, apparently it was 14th of March.
Oh, okay.
Because if the BFI is 5th of March, usually it's not the next Monday, but the following Monday it's released or something like that.
Right, okay.
So I reckon next month probably it's going to come out nice. As of recording this.
That'd be nice. I can't wait for it. I thought the cover was just gorgeous, like one of the best they've ever done.
I'm looking forward to the In Conversation with Michael Grade.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Like just, you know, and I love how he's sort of embracing being the comic book villain for it. But even beyond that,
he's kind of the villain of Doctor Who fans.
Yeah, but even beyond that, just the fact that he's getting to tell his side of the story.
Yeah, of course. I would like to know what his version of events were, because I mean, even Peter Cragine, who cancelled it in '89, he did. He has shown up for numerous documentaries detailing Doctor Who, just saying, I'm the person who cancelled Doctor Who in 1989.
I mean, because I absolutely agree with a lot of what people were saying on Twitter. Every time Michael Gray gets brought up, people like to wheel that clip out of the Room 101 thing from 2001. And it was like, that is an out of context clip where he's he's essentially performing to an audience.
Oh, yeah.
And also it's 20 years old. Like, it's about time we get, like, his side of the story sat down properly. You're looking back on it.
Yeah, I mean, if Mary Whitehouse was still alive, I'd have loved to have seen her on being interviewed for a DVD or Blu-ray, just to say, what was your beef with Doctor Who in the mid-1970s? Yeah. But yeah, the other guy who cancelled Doctor Who with Michael Gray, Jonathan Powell, apparently he'll never talk about Doctor Who. And I know there's that interview with him on the Trials and Tribulation documentary, but apparently that was taken out for an interview about his whole career or something like that.
Right, okay.
Maybe unaware that it was going to be used on a Doctor Who documentary, I don't know. Because I think when he was asked about sacking Colin Baker, he said, well, I'm not avoiding the question, but I don't remember the creative process behind it.
I did little things in the animation there, like the dust coming off as he climbs up and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's really, I think, what makes this look so good is the little details like that. And that's
definitely.
I was saying earlier, that's where you can see the extra time that's been added, just to add those effects, and just add the motion blur, add the dust, add the particle effects. It makes all the difference.
And also add the light coming in from the window. Yeah, exactly. That's really good.
If this had been given like a year, we probably wouldn't have had that stuff. It probably still would have looked good, but you wouldn't have had a lot of those extra effects.
Yeah. I mean, I remember it's in the last episode where they throw that Dalek into the fireplace and it blows up. I remember just thinking to myself when I first saw that, oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got the Blu-ray of this. Have you got it on Steelbook, or is it just the standard Blu-ray?
I do have the Steelbook, yeah. I do have the...
Oh, very nice.
To be honest with you, every time I buy these missing episode animation Steelbook, I am just like, well, this release is going to be redundant as soon as the box set comes out. But it's just one of those things.
Yes, that's why I go for the DVD, so I've not bought a Blu-ray twice.
Yeah, honestly, you're probably doing it in a sensible way.
Because also, I like... just for the time being, I like to fill in those missing gaps in my DVD collection, which 10 years ago I wouldn't have been able to do.
Oh,
and
yeah, it's so surreal seeing those DVDs on shelves.
Yeah, because it's just fantastic. Yeah, I always just I never bother with the Blu-ray or the Steelbook. I mean, the artwork is really good. Yeah. It's just I prefer the look of the DVDs, really.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate. And like I said, you'll be in the sensible option there because you'll get the Blu-ray when you get to the box sets. So
yeah, definitely.
So it's I probably should stop, but it's just one of those things where I'm just. I mean, like I said, I have my limits because I didn't buy the Web of Fear because I was just like, I mean, for that I was like, I'm not spending 20 quid on a Blu-ray. I'm sure as fuck not spending 25 quid on a Steelbook. For that animation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, no one seems to have talked about the restoration on the surviving episodes of Web of Fear as if it's a good or a bad thing, but I reckon it would look a lot better on Blu-ray.
I did see some screenshots from the Blu-ray, and that and the documentary were the things that were sort of making me want to go for it, but then I decided not to, because apparently it looked pretty great on Blu-ray, which was cool. But Patrick Stratton sounded a bit Welsh there. Oh, do I?
Yeah. Oh, do I? it's magnetic.
It's cool to see him back, actually, because obviously he disappeared a bit for episode 4. I love that quote. I'm a professor of a far wider academy.
Yeah, exactly. As if he's a doctor of the universe.
Very cool.
That's a great idea.
I'm a citizen
And again,
of the
just
universe.
links back to that line of the Daleks. That Dalek saying, "You're more than human."
Yeah.
And again, it's the Dalek's undoing because he's not affected by the Dalek factor.
Definitely.
I just realised, humans with Dalek DNA, it's pretty much replicated in the Series 3 two-parter Daleks in Manhattan.
Yeah, the Series 3 two-parter basically remakes this. And I'm surprised people don't...
Yeah, and Victory of the Daleks remakes Power of the Daleks.
Yes, it does, yeah. I'm surprised people don't point out those similarities more, to be honest.
I mean, speaking of that Series 3 two-parter, didn't the writer, Helen Rayner, hasn't she said some transphobic things recently?
I don't know. I remember hearing this, and then it seems to just drop off the face of the planet. I can't.
Might have been true, might not. I don't know.
I think she said some dodgy things. Yeah, I can't remember.
I mean, I'm gonna quote The Simpsons here. Well, Dick blessed it isn't any Doctor Who writer not a truth.
Did you see the
Helen Rayner pops up? I didn't mean to cause a fuss, but now that you mention it.
Did you see the Gareth Roberts pity photo shoot the other day?
Oh yeah, didn't Jenny of Dimensions in Time share it?
Yeah, she shared it. It's like he did an interview with some newspaper saying that he'd been cancelled, and it was just photos of him in front of a Doctor Who shelf with a canine, looking a bit sad, and it was just this most pathetic, most ridiculous thing.
Every time, if we're gonna get more Doctor Who writers who are coming out as TERFs, or Doctor Who actors coming out as TERFs, I'm just gonna be like Sean from Shaun of the Dead, oh, give us a fucking break.
Yeah. Thankfully, I think we're kind of, well, you never can say, can you? But
yeah, I mean, no, I'm not calling him out to be cancelled, but Patrick Troughton, apparently he did have a secret family. He lived a double life.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he it was something that really shook up his relationship with his sister and his mum as well. Apparently they vowed to never speak to him again because he did this, and tragically they kept that up until he died, which is such a shame. Memory scoring should have been the master.
Yes, yeah, it's
hypnotizing people.
But even this, I know Classic Who does this a lot, and it never ever bothers me. But here, it's just this is such a long scene. It's such a laboriously done moment.
Well, I don't mind its inclusion because, again, it explains how Victoria ended up in the Power of the Daleks. She was hypnotized by Maxtable. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't mind its inclusion. It's just how long that goes on. You cut to a few years later, and Roger Delgado's doing that to people in 10 seconds.
In 2 seconds.
Yeah, and it's just there is a more efficient way of doing this.
I love the Dalek voice in his head that goes, "Obey."
Yes.
It almost sounds like a ghost. It's really good.
Very cool. And that's the great stuff about that's in this story. Is moments like that I think people remember.
Mm-hmm. The whole "you will obey." Yeah, the Daleks are screaming for control and power, shall we say?
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't. When they're screaming for control and power, and people defy them, it's that defiance that leads to their downfall. It's really well done, I think.
Yeah, definitely. He's going.
Okay, so I'm going to assume Max T'Pol has been ordered by the Daleks now that the experiment's done to grab Victoria and probably bring her to Skaro because because actually I thought wait, doesn't this undermine the Daleks? Because if he does this, then Jamie's feelings can't be recorded, but they have already been recorded. But
reminds me of that Dalek voice in his head. Reminds me a bit of that very unique, strange, and very singular bit in the Moon Base where you hear the Doctor's inner monologue, which never really happens again.
No, never.
Literally never.
But it's really cool because when I listened to it on audio, I thought, oh, is it the Doctor whispering to himself? But no, it's his inner monologue. This scene here, I do like how Waterfield gets more desperate, and he even tries to do something that he doesn't condone, which is violence and murder, because he tries to hit the Doctor with an iron bar. But I like how it's the Doctor who reminds him who he is, saying, no, that's not going to achieve anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Again, be careful, but you're letting your mortal enemy, who has every chance to sabotage this experiment, be on his own. I mean, wouldn't it make more sense if you left him under guard or something like that?
Yeah. It's just maybe we just shouldn't question it. Because this story is just full of things like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, funny enough, the original idea of getting a caveman and experimenting on him and spreading the Dalek factor throughout human history, it's an idea that's actually used in a Big Finish audio called The Reaping.
Yes, yeah.
Where the Cybermen try to do that.
It's a cool idea. It's a very cool idea.
Yeah. I mean, just like, that story was written by Joe Lidster, and Cybermen, Daleks, Davros, and the Master, the big four villains, he writes for them really well, if you ever listen to those stories. I got a huge laugh, though. I don't think you quite realise what you're saying. I mean, it amazes me. In the last episode, Kemmel was literally one scene away from becoming a companion. Because Max T'Pol kills him, and the next scene, the Doctor's like, oh, we're not leaving Victoria here, she's coming with us. So, if Kemmel was still around, would the Doctor have been like, Kemmel, you can come with us too?
I guess so, yeah. Why didn't I use my head? But I don't want to use my head.
Kimmel, use your head. Yeah, he bangs the door open with his head, but it's still locked, so he goes, "Oh!"
Yeah.
That's the outtake. Now, if you look here, the crest of arms you see on the wall, I think it's got Whittaker written on it.
I think so, yeah.
Obviously a reference to the writer, yeah.
Yeah, because I seem to remember I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, how dare they put a reference to Jodie in this story? And it's like, it's not. It's David Whittaker.
Yeah. Not my doctors. We're against cancel culture. What happened to freedom of speech? Also not my doctors. RTD needs to erase the Chibnall era now and forget this fucking abomination ever occurred. And people who like this era are mentally deficient.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Why you look...
That was weird.
Fuck off, you cunt. Sorry, I don't usually use that word, but...
I mean...
To
be fair, I can see why people did think that, because if you look on the other crests there, it does say Eccleston, Baker.
Oh, nice.
But Whittaker is spelt with one T, which is David Whittaker.
Yes.
Not Jodie Whittaker, which is two T's. So, calm down.
I mean, I've said this story before, but some people thought I changed my name to Whittaker because of Jodie Whittaker, because my name's double barrel.
Yes.
Yeah, just... No, I've looked it up on my birth certificate and everything. It is Whittaker-Dakin.
No, honestly, I completely agree. It's just... Yeah. I couldn't believe that email that person was sending to the other guy on Twitter, saying they're mentally deficient. Oh, God.
Yeah. Just what? I mean, what a crime. Someone liked an episode you didn't.
Yeah, right?
I don't like Asylum of the Daleks, but I'm not going to call people mentally deficient for liking it. I shrug my shoulders and I walk away. That's what you need to learn to do. I know you have a career online of being outraged, but you need to walk away.
Well, that's the thing. You build a career
then
out of
it. Yeah. Then I saw someone online trying to be clever saying, "Oh, not my doctors, they don't exist." Yeah, you say that because you fucking hang around with them. Yeah, again, this thing we have to tell, it just feels really inconsequential, the whole, oh, he's under control. Just leave the house, please.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I'll say this about Evil of the Daleks. Up until this point, it does feel like the very first Doctor Who finale in how we come to view them in the modern day. Like, you've got a recurring monster. It's longer than usual.
Yeah, definitely.
And, yeah, it's more action-driven. Because, yeah, I'd argue the other finale that may have rivaled this one is maybe the Time Meddler, because you've got the shock of there being another member of the Doctor's race. I mean, I want to know how exciting it might have been for people in 1965, that cliffhanger where they walk in and go, "The monk's got a TARDIS."
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible reveal.
Mm-hmm. And also, funny enough, this is the first time in the show's history that we go back to a planet we've already been to, not counting Earth, of course, because we go back to Skaro.
I do look, and something. It's a testament to this animation as well. I keep forgetting that it's a substitute for missing visuals. Whereas with something like Fury from the Deep, for example, I'm constantly reminded that it's a substitute.
Yeah, because with this animation style because this was the same team that did Macroterror and Faceless Ones, I think. Yeah. I often, again, as you said, I often forget that this is animation. I keep thinking it's live action.
Well,
squint hard enough, you may think it's live action.
Yeah. Well, I think Macroterror was done with in collaboration with Sun and Moon Studios, I think, as well. So, yeah. Like I said, there's just something about the Macroterror, the way their faces move. I think it's just gorgeous in that. It's. I do think it's still my favourite. I think it's just
yeah.
I think it's a wonderful animation. And like I said, I like all of this. It's like whose side do you want and stuff, but it is sort of like, well,
and
no
then it
payoff to it.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the way that transitions. Whose side are you on? And we meet the human Daleks.
I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a nice visual way of saying he's on the side of humanity because these Daleks have been infected with human DNA. But yeah, again, there's not really a payoff, as you say. Like, we could have got a scene in episode 6 or 7 where Jamie says, "Oh, I'm sorry for ever doubting you, Doctor," or something like that.
There's just no payoff to it. That's the biggest thing. Because it's really good on its own. It's just,
I'll say this at the BFI screening: the human Daleks got such a big laugh. People bloody loved them.
See, I that doesn't surprise me. I think they're great. I think they're really cool.
Yeah, they're taking me for a ride.
And that effect of putting a 2D character on a CGI object, I think it works really well. And I think it's again,
the animators said that was one of the hardest things to do. Have the 3D and 2D mixed together seamlessly, and it works really well.
It works so well, and I think it's pretty incredible that it's managed to be done. Again, it probably wouldn't have been possible in the other animations with just the time and and budget they had.
And it's such a weird cliffhanger as well, because it's not based on any danger or peril. It's like yes, we've done it. We've had a scientific breakthrough. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a unique cliffhanger, but that's why I like it so much. Because it's one of those cliffhangers where you think, where the hell is the story going to go now?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's great.
I remember when the audio commentaries were announced, because there's one on episode 2 with the designer Chris Thompson.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, wait, is that the Troughton impersonator?
I thought exactly the same thing.
Is that Chris Walker Thompson?
I thought exactly the same thing. Oh, God.
Yeah. Because he's done, like, impressions of all the Doctors. Is it like them accepting the part or leaving or something
calling
like
up
that?
their next incarnation?
That's
and
it,
Christopher
yeah, brilliant.
One was I don't give a fuck, David, fuck off. It's so funny.
I mean that whole don't give a fuck attitude from Eccleston. Mr. TARDIS tweeted about him on Big Finish recently, saying it might have been an interview where Eccleston, he's got no idea what a crinoid is, or what it is, or what it stands for, or what its history is, but he's so dedicated as an actor, he will sell its danger and the threat it poses. Yeah. Heck, he's the sort of actor who can sell the Slovene as a threat of how, despite how silly they are.
And he did struggle with that, didn't he, because of what he was being asked to do and everything. So good on him to.
Okay, two more to go. We're nearly there.
Thankfully, these two are by far the best. Well, yeah, I'd say they're the best episodes of the lot.
They are, yeah.
Because that whole stretch with like 4 and 5 is just like...
Yeah, it's where the most plot happens, I'd say. Yeah. That's not to say... Yeah, because I remember doing my Pertwee marathon recently, and quite a few six-parters, particularly the ones set in outer space, I was just watching them like, I'd probably love this if this was 4 episodes, but nothing's happening.
I'm currently on the Monster Paladin in my marathon, and it is, oh god, struggling with that. I'm really struggling with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Monster Paladin, like,
I love
just, yeah.
Train.
And again, the motion blur on them works really well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm getting dizzy. It works really well. It's so good.
Yeah. I think this was before Rainbow came out. So I wonder if they looked at this and thought, "Hey, Roy Skelton could play Zippy." Well, actually, funnily enough, Peter Hawkins was the original voice of Zippy.
Oh yeah.
But I think after a few weeks working on it, it went to Roy Skelton. I mean, I'll say this, particularly in Revelation, the Daleks in that do sound a lot like Zippy.
Oh, yeah.
It is the Doctor. Oh, look at the mess you've made. Oh, hello, it's breakfast time. I'm really hungry. Oh, when they kept saying, friend, people kept imitating the in-betweens.
Oh, friend.
Friend. Oh. I mean, Jamie should have totally took the piss here. Oh, friend, Doctor. Oh, best Dalek friend. Oh, best friend for an Doctor. We were waiting for 40 to get that wound up. And I love this here when they say their names and they go into a circle like Ring Around a Rosie, like kids would do. I don't know if that was in the original episode, but I'm glad the animation had it. Yeah, that's it there.
Yes.
Alpha, Beta, Omega.
Yes, I hope, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Friends. I mean, the bit in episode 7 where the human Dalek gets shot and you've probably not seen it, so there's a bit where a human Dalek gets shot and the other human Dalek actually prods it with its sucker to see if it's dead, and so many people in the audience just went, "Aww." Oh, best Dalek friend.
I love how he says Ruth. Ruth.
Oof.
It's great.
It's the McCoy role, yeah.
Again, the music's great. Like, the music is doing a lot of the legwork here.
Yeah, it's so good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's why I distinctly remember when I first listened to the soundtrack. The music would always stick out for me. It's really good.
Yeah, it's great. It really is great.
shouting at the bottom of the stairs isn't going to get him. You've got to actually find him. Yeah, this fight scene coming up between Waterfield and Maxtable, it is... I think doing fight scenes and running is hard in animation, but I think they pull it off quite well.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Because we're running in animation, sometimes it looks like they're walking through treacle.
Yeah, that's the... Yeah. It's difficult with the walk cycles in a lot of these.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of the problem, I think, with the Ice Warriors animation, because the characters don't really seem to walk. Yeah. They tend to bob. I must go to the room. Bob, bob, bob,
I quite like the Ice Warriors animation, though. I think it's quite underrated.
Yeah, because...
I think it's like a precursor to
again,
these,
I think it's...
the more cartoony style.
Definitely, yeah, that's it, yeah.
Because it came out in the time where we had like
Flash.
We had like 10th Planet and the Moon Base, which is quite realistic style. Telesnaps come to life. They're kind of Ice Warriors is kind of a precursor to kind of this style, I think.
Yeah, because I don't think we're going to get any more Moonbase or 10th Planet style animations where, again, it looks like telesnaps come to life. No. But it was a form of rotoscoping, wasn't it?
I think that was the Reign of Terror one, the rotoscoping. Because the Reign of Terror one is the one that has like the weird Uncanny Valley human faces.
Where, because at times the eyes do look a bit dead. There's nothing behind the eyes.
And oh my god, the editing in that as well. Christ, it's a meme now.
It's probably just a chill.
It's probably just a chill, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just realised this is the last time that Peter Hawkins ever voices the Daleks.
Yes, it is, yeah. And I do love how all the Daleks sound distinct and unique.
They do, yeah.
I miss that. Like, that's the one thing with the new series. I really hope RTD brings more Dalek voices on.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because obviously Nick Briggs does the mold that... I mean, in fairness, he is really good at... trying to make each Dalek distinct from one another when they speak to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing against Nick Briggs at all. I just think it'd be cool to have a few more.
And with the Cult of Skaro, he stuck to each of those Daleks having that distinctive voice, and he actually said, "Can you not write any for Dalek Jast because he's really high pitched?" I just think he sounds a bit ridiculous. But apparently, someone pointed out, Dalek Khan sounded gruff and quite growly when he first spoke in Doomsday and in bits of Daleks in Manhattan. So how come he had a high-pitched voice when, at the end of the story, and he said, that's because he became the commander, meaning his voice changed. Oh, that's a Rel's clock thing. I wonder if that's a reference to the countdown in Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD, because they've got that.
Yeah, I think it might be,
Yeah. Heck, that's the... it's that film where it shows the Daleks use Rels as a measuring time. That's the first time they use it.
Yeah.
And it's not in a TV story, it first made its debut in a film.
Yeah. Because Jenny on Twitter, we spoke about her earlier, was doing that wonderful thread of references to the classic series and the new series. She pointed out that Doomsday kind of references that movie.
It does, yeah. I mean, uh, Russell T Davies said the reason I had Dalek Sec be a black Dalek is because I remember watching the old Dalek stories, and every time you saw a different coloured Dalek, you were instantly grabbed as a kid because you thought, oh, it must be something special. And yeah, that's why we have a black Dalek Sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame how the Dalek voices in this are so good, and in Day of the Daleks they sound like the actors couldn't care less.
literally couldn't care less, right?
Yeah. Whoever is operating the time machine.
Oh god.
So if I speak into this machine, I'll just sound like a Dalek. Then I don't need to put any effort in. Yeah, whatever.
Thank God they replaced it for the special edition.
Yeah. Oh, there's an idea. A looking for documentary, looking for the Dalek voices of Day of the Daleks.
That'd be great.
Yeah, because I have no idea. I think they're called Peter Gilbert and Oliver Messaline. I have no idea if they did any more acting.
Yeah.
Heck, it's funny. The Auton voices in Terror of the Autons, they sound more like Daleks.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. I know watching the black and white version, but the colour version of this for the surface of Skaro looks really good. It's like a hot burning red with smoke everywhere. It's almost like Mustafar from Star Wars. Yeah. Yeah, this must have been exciting for viewers at the time because they're like, we've gone back to Skaro. That's from when Hartnell was the Doctor, yeah. It was from a time when someone else was the Doctor. Must have been really exciting. And here's a fun fact: this black dome Dalek, it's Matt Smith's favourite Dalek design, I think.
I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got the figure of it, and it's fantastic. I love that. Right.
I love that. The escalation of the audio mix as well. Like, it's just screaming and shouting. It's brilliant.
Yeah, Dalek screaming. It's what you want to hear from them.
Yeah.
Well, I know for the enhanced 5.1 audio for Destiny of the Daleks, they've added more sound effects from the 60s.
Yes, it's very cool.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they've added. They've put more modulation on Davros's voice for Destiny. It's really good. Maybe they'll do more modulation for Revelation. I don't know. Yeah, I'll admit, it's not a strong debut for Victoria because she's literally just captured twice. That's about it.
Yeah, it's not. She doesn't have a lot to do, does she? Deborah Woman gives her
which
all.
Is a shame because it's her first story. Yeah, definitely. I think she's got good reason for joining the TARDIS because her father dies and the Doctor feels that she's now his responsibility.
That is my name. It's really cool.
That is my name. Name? The other Daleks take the piss out of him.
Wow.
Will your friend, the Doctor, be there? Oh, friend. Oh, best friend forever and ever. Friend! Fucking Dalek friend! I never thought he would get that wound up. Omega, what are you doing? I'm not your fucking friend, alright? I do like that moment there where Maxwell looks like he's going to hit Victoria, but Kemmel just stands in front of her. So to show he's outgrown Maxtable, sees that he's truly the evil one.
I love it. He starts screaming and going, "Ooh!" Sounds like he's trying to pretend to be a ghost or something.
Yeah.
Comes in with a white sheet going, "Ooh!
Ooh! Are you sure this plan will work?"
Yeah.
Yes. But it's rather stupid. I know, but the Doctor's always curious about freaky shit. I like the echo effect we've got here, where they're outside the city.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Mm-hmm. And I do like this, where you've got this Dalek pretending to be the human one, and I don't know if it's Peter or Roy Skelton, but shout out to them, because they do a good job of the Dalek pretending to be human when it's not, because, like, it's not like, I am your friend.
Yes.
It's just like, I am your friend, follow me. It's done really well. Because yeah, if it really was a human Dalek, it would have said one of your friends, because it just says a prisoner.
I love it. The you think I don't know my own mark? It's such a cool, like, yeah, it's really cool. And I like the explosion effects in this animation.
Yeah. Omega, naming that after his Time Lord God.
Omega, don't forget Omega.
Should have called one of them Zodin.
Brackets the terrible.
The terrible Zodin. Yeah. Imagine if Kemmel did talk in this story, he'd be like the Sandman from No Way Home. I just want to go home.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love the design of the Dalek City, because it just looks so unfriendly, with all the triangles there, the pointed edges.
Yes.
Looks really good.
It's harsh and kind of unforgiving an environment.
Which is a great contrast against the almost cozy Victorian house we were in earlier. And of course, we got the first appearance of the Dalek Emperor.
Yeah, and the music here, dun 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 dun, like it's sinister.
It's really good.
The Doctor, like it's sinister.
The big booming voice, it's great. Yeah. I mean, here's a fun fact: the top of the Dalek Emperor, the dome, it's actually a reused Chumbly.
Oh, is it? Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is. That's great. And yeah, it wasn't just a pre-filmed thing. It was built for the studio, wasn't it? That the actors interact with, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a built-in thing. The photos of the model, look amazing.
Mm-hmm. And we also got that line. Look at the size of that thing, Doctor.
Oh yes,
yes, Jamie. It is a big one. Apparently, in rehearsals, he said, "Look at the balls on that thing, Doctor." Yes, Jamie, they are big.
Of course, we were talking about missing episodes earlier, and this, I think, it is what most people think of when they think missing Doctor Who, right? Like, one of the first things that comes to mind is the big Dalek Emperor. And that rumor, like in the 90s, that they had found a full colour copy of the Evil of the Daleks.
Oh god, that wouldn't have happened.
And it turned out to be
a full colour copy.
Yeah, it turned out to be a John Pertwee story. I can't remember which one it was now, but it turned out to be a Pertwee story. But Doctor Who magazine, I think, reported on it and everything. It was like, well, that's impossible. How
Mm-hmm. Also, and Troughton just name-dropped the title of the next Dalek story. The Day of the Daleks is coming to an end. I mean, he really should have just said, the evil of the Daleks is coming to an end. Funny enough, this TARDIS is in an alcove, but then when we find it in episode 7, it's somehow outside the city.
Yes. Reasons.
That's a great cliffhanger, spreading it through the whole history of Earth. One more to go. We're nearly there.
It's gone quite quick, to be fair.
Yeah, it has. Imagine if we were doing the War Games, that'd have been 4 hours.
Oh, Christ, yeah. Well, I think Endgame is still the longest commentary we've ever done, to be fair, so...
It is, yeah.
I gotta say, these credits are long, though, with the animation credits as well.
Yeah, because we've got to credit the animators as well, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, the director, Anne-Marie Walsh, I can't take that name seriously because of Donna in Turn Left. Oh, and that 30 grand missing from the kitty.
Anne-Marie.
Well, I remember on Twitter recently, someone showed a page of a script from Turn Left, and it opens with Donna is in full Donna mode, because apparently when Russell wrote that, Catherine Tate knew what he meant, as in completely shouty Donna, sassing everyone off and everything like that. Yeah, was this animation done primarily in the UK? Because I know Fury from the Deep, that was quite global. We had the UK, Australia, and I think India as well.
Yeah, Fury from the Deep was kind of spread out all over the place. Was that the one that one of the studios got hit by a massive tornado or something?
That was it, yeah. I think it might have been in India.
It.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed since 2020, we do seem to have gotten 3 animations a year, including, say, a special edition, because 2020 we had Faceless Ones, Power, and Fury. Last year we had Web of Fear, This, and Galaxy 4.
Yeah.
Now we know for this year we've got Abominable Snowman coming up, so could we get 2 others? I mean, if there are going to be 2 others, I'm willing to bet money it's Wheel in Space and Space Pirates.
Yes, I would.
Everyone's favourite stories, but we're getting them because they're easy to animate.
I'm not gonna lie. If the Space Pirates get animated, I think it'd be hilarious to watch the fandom react. But also, it might be some secret masterpiece.
It could be, because. Yeah, maybe. I mean, Fraser Hines has said it's the episode he wants back the most, because either A, because it's really good, or B, because he just wants to remember what it was like, because apparently he doesn't have any memory working on it.
Wendy Padbury doesn't either. Like, apparently it was just this blip, because it's essentially a Dr. Light story for the most of it. The main crew aren't in it that much. And, it's... Yeah,
because I hear apparently they don't show up into... The TARDIS team, they don't show up into part 1 until like halfway through. That's insane.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's true. They spent episode 2 stuck in a cupboard for the whole thing. It's awful.
And in episode 6, apparently they're only in pre-filmed sequences because they were busy doing the location work for the war games.
Yep, that's absolutely true. You couldn't pay me to watch the reconstruction again, to be honest. I'll watch.
Yeah, I've seen your video on it where you're just staring into space, like as if you've had, as if you're getting Vietnam flashbacks.
Oh, it's fucking awful. It's just.
I think I'd imagine that if fans watched it, maybe an animated version, they'd be like Krusty the Clown, cigarette in mouth, wide-eyed. What the hell was that?
I'd watch an animated version just to see if it was actually like, if adding some movement helped, but I don't even think it would. It's just such a... Oh, God.
I mean, to be honest, the whole, what the hell was that? That's me after watching The Web Planet, and that's not even animated.
The Web Planet, yes, yeah. It's the noise of that gets me, The Web Planet. Like, I could probably... yeah, God. It sends... Oh, rings in my ears. Like, I could probably watch it with the sound off.
I love this scene where the Doctor thinks he has been defeated, and he's just thinking, "Oh, if only maybe I could save all of you."
Yeah.
And he even says, "I could take you back to my own planet." It's just that period in Doctor Who's history where his origins were never really touched upon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this odd sort of little period.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice little opening the window, but then shutting it again, keeping the whole Doctor Who thing in.
Definitely.
I do wonder, because Sidney Newman left the BBC in '67 and didn't have a say over Doctor Who anymore. I do wonder how he would have thought of the war games with the Time Lords and everything like that, because... Would he have said, "It's too specific. It's Doctor Who, remember?"
Oh, remember. Oh, my headphones have just died, actually. So we've been going for so long. My Bluetooth headphones that I connected to the TV to hear the audio of the episode have just gone.
Mine are still going. I do like later. I mean, it's probably unintentional. It's just probably me reading the line, but when that Black Dalek says, a Dalek questioned an order, and the Emperor Dalek says, "Then it was one of the test Daleks," and that Dalek responds with, "Yes," as if to say, that's pretty fucking obvious, isn't it? love that. Why? When you're getting told off by the teacher who questioned the Dalek command. I mean, not gonna lie, it did piss me off being a teaching assistant. You tell a kid what to do and they just go, why?
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's like, never mind, never fucking mind why, just do it.
And especially with the age of the kids you were working with as well, right? Because you were with quite young kids, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I was. I mean, most recently I was with year 3 and 4, so I thought they'd have known a bit better. But that's the age where they develop an attitude, but they're not mature enough to mellow it out, I've discovered.
I love the lighting effects in this bit.
It is very really cool. Good, yeah.
I do like that Max the Bully is just... Oh, he's fully over the edge at
this point. He's completely insane at this point, yeah. It's his thirst for knowledge and power, which is his downfall. Definitely. And it's great that the Daleks exploit that. It's almost as if they look at Max Double and think, these are the worst parts of humanity that we should exploit and transplant into our race. Or make humans who are gullible like this, like us. Yeah. Now, the Dalek Emperor, it had appeared before, but not on TV. It had appeared in, I think, the Dalek comic strip, which was also written by David Whittaker.
Yes. That's
And I think there was a comic strip in the late 60s where the Daleks fought the Quarks.
Oh, really? That kind of doesn't surprise me, actually, because the Quarks were of that ilk where they were kind of trying to recapture some of the Dalek
where they
magic.
Were trying to be, these are going to be the next Daleks. Like, yeah, sure, but giving them cute voices didn't really help, did it? Shall we destroy? Like, no one listened to those voices and thought, yep, they sound threatening. I mean, to be honest, again, attitude was probably, who cares? They're only going to see this once. We're wiping the episode next week.
Yeah, legitimately. Plus, at that point, like I said earlier, like, you get into season 6 and you can just feel the tiredness of the production team. Like, everyone just feels knackered. The actors feel knackered. The production team just feels like, right, let's just do this and then we can go. Like, it's not a terrible season, but you can feel, with the exception, I think, of the invasion.
I think it's because I think it is Troughton's weakest season in terms of story quality, 100%. Because you've got Dominators and Space Pirates. They're complete duds in my opinion, utter crap. Crotons is pretty but Invasion and the War Games, I think, and the Mind Robber as well. They're amongst Troughton's strongest stories, and Seeds of Death is pretty good. It's got the most duffers in it, I'd say.
Yeah, it's the definition of a mixed bag season.
Oh, there it is. Oh, so they did move the TARDIS, right? Because Maxwell just said, "I've had your TARDIS placed outside the city."
Okay, well that makes sense. Okay, cool.
But then again, it's supposed to be a lie to get him through the archway, so...
Well...
they're really dedicated to this plan.
Okay, I think they hold on that shot a bit too long. I'm just writhing about.
And it must have been scary for viewers at the time to think, oh, the Doctor's been turned into a Dalek. Yeah.
And I would like to have seen how Troughton played that, like, with his facial expressions and body language, because obviously we've got the audio, but... Because
Because if you noticed on the animation, Maxtable, when he's been Dalekified, he doesn't blink. His eyes are completely wide open. I was going to mention
the thing about the eyes. The eyes look really sinister. They're just really wide open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just, again, just adding to the laboriousness a bit. The constant, follow me, stop, follow me, stop. It's just a bit like...
Mm-hmm. I mean, idea for a Dalek story, have them study humanity, but maybe question that they're more monstrous than they are.
Yeah.
Because there's a really good line in Power of the Daleks where they say, why do human beings kill human beings? It's something the Daleks can't understand because, with obviously a few exceptions, the Daleks don't kill each other.
And that's what, yeah.
But and humans
and I think that's what's fascinating about Power of the Daleks.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were the ratings like for this story at the time?
It started off pretty strong with about 8 million viewers, but the middle episodes for 4 and 5, they dropped to like 5 million.
Well, I guess...
That's quite surprising for a Dalek story, but then again, it was transmitted over summer, so...
yeah, that's true.
People are probably outside more. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it makes sense because 4 and 5 are by far the weakest, I think. So
yeah, and I think maybe audiences were getting a bit tired of the Daleks at this point because they had appeared in about 6 stories in 4 years. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was part of the motivation to kill them off, or to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, the voice, it just is incredible for that Emperor Dalek, isn't it? It's just fantastic.
Yeah, and it's good how it was replicated in Parting of the Ways for the Dalek Emperor there. Yeah, the big booming voice. It's a shame they never made a figure out of that, the Emperor Dalek.
Definitely. Yeah, no, it would have been great. I mean, there's been a lot of fan-made figures of it, and they all look fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the History of the Daleks sets, I think we're going to get Death to the Daleks
I think
next.
So, yeah, which I do like the Daleks designs in that.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they do a glass Dalek from Revelation of the Daleks. That'd be a really cool figure.
Very cool. That'd be really good, actually.
To be honest, when new figures get announced, I'm kind of like... There's that bit where Marge is cheering on for, like, a race, or I want a T-shirt, and then she's like, wait, no I don't. And because I remember the other day I saw the Silurians from Warriors of the Deep get announced, and I was like, yay, they look cool, I want one. Wait, no I don't. Like, I'll say, oh cool, that's coming out, but I won't buy it.
To be fair, I don't think I really needed 3 of them. Because they look cool now, because they arrived yesterday. They look cool, but I don't think I needed 3 of them. It would have been nice to have like 1 and then a Sea Devil and the Doctor.
They should have put the Merker in there.
Yeah.
Complete with karate chop.
Oh my god,
action.
though, like this might be hideously dated by the time this commentary goes out, but I really hope Chris Chibnall in Legends of the Sea Devils brings back the Merker. in my head, I'm imagining in my head, right, this sinister like growl from beneath the surface, and then the camera pans down into the water, and you just see this giant figure in the water swimming towards like a boat or something.
Yeah, because the thing is, a well-realised Merca could look fantastic.
It could look really cool. Really,
I mean, Time Lash for season 22, it's getting updated special effects. I wonder, have they updated the Bandril sock puppets?
Maybe.
I hope they've changed that. I hope they've changed that god-awful voice. It seems really cool. The Doctor has destroyed the missile, but so has his TARDIS. I'm just like, they went to war with these things? They're not like wimps. Yeah. Where are the prisoners? I do not know. Sound like they're drunk. I am so wasted right now. Yeah, this was the bit where everyone went, the Dalek here prodding his friend. Everyone just went, aww.
I wonder if he does that in the original. It's just the way he prods it.
I don't think he does, because I reckon this is something they added,
They're really, just again, the smoke effect, there's just an extra level of polish to this, isn't there, this animation? Compared to something like Power.
Mm-hmm. Why? Your mortal enemy's right there, Black Darling. Just shoot him. You clearly know he's there. They're just telling him to shut up, like, shut up. Why should we not obey? Shut up.
Oh, it's all a bit Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean,
destroy rebels.
Yep. Destroy rebels. Bring back Clone Wars.
I've finished now.
The second Doctor commits... Yeah, I've finished now. The second Doctor commits genocide. Worst Doctor ever. The Doctor's a shit...
Morals.
The second Doctor's not only a shit Doctor, he's a shit character. The 13th Doctor does the same. Worst Doctor ever. Yeah.
I will say, this story is a perfect showcase for the second Doctor's ability to play the fool and then outsmart his enemies.
Definitely, yeah.
Because it happens so many times like this.
Yeah, and I like how by season 6 they're subverting that trope, because in the invasion he does try to play the fool, but Tobias Vaughan just sees right through it.
It's a nice subversion of that. And it's a level of sort of self-awareness that the production team sort of know that the tropes of this character now.
Mm-hmm. This is really well done, and I'm glad they went the extra mile and didn't think just to animate those little what are they called? Mark's toys, something like that. That you see in the behind the scenes footage.
Do not fight in here. Go outside if you must.
No, do not fight.
God, this does look great. This.
I am watching Netflix and BritBox. And again, I love how he's screaming for them to obey, but they're not listening. Because it's what the Daleks are always fighting for in this story, people to obey them. And of course, the famous story is that Sidney Newman said, "Don't kill off the Daleks." And because if you watch the behind-the-scenes stuff, the Emperor's light flashes as if to suggest that it's still alive.
Yeah,
but here it's been replaced with, the Emperor gets obliterated there.
Yeah.
Because here it's been replaced with a Dalek eye stalk coming back on, which it's a nice change, but again, it was done in Power of the Daleks already, so it's a shame they didn't leave alone.
It's quite sinister, though. Like, both times it's done, it's really sinister.
Yeah. I love how his voice is mixed with the Dalek voice, the kill, yeah.
And you know what? This last episode, like, watching it now properly, I can absolutely see why this story has the reputation it does, if only because this last episode is fantastic. It's just a shame about a lot of the other episodes. Yeah. Like, if every episode in this story was on the level of episode 7, oh my god, this would be a masterpiece.
Yeah. Yeah, because I would agree, the best stuff is in the last 2 episodes, but I do think there is a lot to like in the other episodes, but it's just stretched out a bit too thin, I think, for 7 episodes. But I don't think it is the classic that fans make it out to be, but it's still a very good story. I think.
Story, yeah.
I know we've kind of took the piss, but we're Doctor Who fans. We always make light-hearted jabs at things.
I mean,
but of course, if you make a light-hearted jab, you've now got to back up your claims in a 55-hour review and explain why it's objectively good or bad, and I hate YouTube now.
So stay tuned for that next week, coming on my channel. It's interesting, like...
Yeah, Lewis is doing a 55-hour review of why the Evil of the Daleks is objectively bad, and you're wrong for liking it.
Yes, in fact, it's like halfway edited now, actually. I just got to put the finishing touches on it, so... watching it now, like, this animation, I guess as we're wrapping it up now, it's getting towards the end, I have enjoyed it more than I did when I watched the reconstruction. I think it's riddled with holes, and I think that it's very flawed, and I don't think it's the classic it's made out to be. It is a good story, though. It's definitely a good story, and this last episode is one of... Well, it's incredible, isn't it? I mean, this last episode is
because I don't know... Because it's not in my top 5 Troughtons, but I'm not sure if it'd break the top 10, to be honest.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's good. It's just there's too many flaws in there to...
Yeah, because I think other stories like Fury from the Deep, The Mind Robber, and Enemy of the World, I'd probably take over this one.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Like I said, it's good. It's just there's too many flaws in there and too many holes and just too much padding to keep it.
It's too, shall we say, loosely written compared to Power, which is more tightly written.
That is a perfect description. That's a perfect description. I think, like you said, it would have been great as a 6-parter. At 7, it's too damn long.
But I also think that as a series finale for season 4, it definitely delivers. And if this was going to be the last Dalek story ever, then I think it would be a good one to go out on.
Yeah. It's a good... I mean, it's an epic end. I like that Dalek Stories credited by Terry Nation there as a credit, which is interesting.
Yeah, because rule number 1 was, if you wanted to have the Daleks, you need to A, ask Terry Nation, and B, ask if he wants to write it.
You have to go through him first, yeah.
Because Glenn McCoy, who wrote Time Lash, the very first thing he did when he submitted the Doctor Who idea was a story featuring the Daleks, which is a big no-no.
Right, okay. Well, that's interesting, actually.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess to wrap this up, Evil of the Daleks. Overrated, but decent enough, good story. What do you think of the animation?
Yeah, I would say... Yeah, animation, I think it's terrific. I hope this team does more, because they haven't done any other stories beyond season 4.
No, yeah.
I'd love to see this animation style used for a Hartnell story.
Oh, I think it'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Get this team to do Celestial Toymaker, I'd say, or Marco Polo, because they can clearly do 7 episodes.
And I know we ruled it out earlier, but I mean, this team doing Master Plan would...
that would be incredible.
That'd be absolute magic.
Mm-hmm.
But well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the commentary to the Evil of the Daleks. As I said right at the start, and if you've been listening to this long, you know, round of applause, well done. But as I said right at the start, this is our final commentary for the time being. Isaac, you are off acting, aren't you? So what are you kind of moving on to?
I will be. I'm moving on to be an entertainer at a holiday camp. So my life is going to be like Delta and the Bannerman.
I mean, that's what we want.
I just hope there's no horrific alien criminals trying to blow everyone up.
No, that'd certainly put a dampener on the whole thing. But yes, this is our last commentary, probably for a while. So, you know, we've gone out on the epic final end of the Daleks. If you enjoyed this and would like to listen to, I think we've got over 60 commentaries already waiting on my channel in one big playlist. We've done loads of stuff on there, so you can go and check that out. Also, go and subscribe to Isaac's channel. Isaac, thank you for doing these commentaries with me. It's been great fun, and good luck with your acting.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye.